some last-minute production right here, but welcome as we do the pre-show. We'll be getting into the games as people come in. Oh God,
that's what I'm saying, dude. Your face is lit
in like
up.
about 20 or 30 minutes or so. We might. It essentially will be a big Q&A. We'll talk about some stuff in the pre-show right before we get into like the hard-hitting mid-season awards.
Yeah. So. The way the show is going to be formatted, and we'll probably mention this again right before it goes live, but we're going to have top 3 at every position. Then we're going to have some specific awards, and then we're going to close it out with a quick prediction on where we think teams will end up in the playoffs a little bit.
It's too hot. I can't do this.
It was a good try.
Yeah. Where did you put the top 3, like the topics list?
That's in the PLT one. Isn't that the main one?
Yeah, but since there's 3 of us, that one only has 2. I didn't know you were going to put it on that one.
That's why you should have been doing your job instead of playing Melee, so I didn't fuck it up.
I gave Mark a chance to just see what it's like to be a production
Wait,
man.
this was like the hardest day, and you just did nothing. This is the day where it's like, wait, the show's totally different, guys. We got to work on a bunch of production stuff, and then you did nothing.
All right. Well.
Anyways, I tried to channel my inner Thorin there, but I just can't do it. I don't know how he does it.
Thorin's a beast about like that kind of stuff.
Thorin lives in like the cold. He lives in the dark, dreary cold. I can't do it, man. I gotta take it off.
Yeah, you gotta get like 6 layers on there. So while we're waiting for people to still, kind of file in.
Can you need to close it more?
Yeah, I think you gotta slide it all the way over. I'm sorry, friend.
It's like at the very edge where it's like going into my eyes.
Oh, all right.
That's okay.
No, it's pretty much.
There's no way you can fix it. It's okay.
Yeah,
it's
good.
as good
It's
as it's gonna get. Thank you.
Thank you, Miles.
Anyways,
all right.
I'm Scarra. For people who don't know,
We'll do the real intros.
You want to restart at the very beginning?
Yeah. Right.
Are you ready?
Oh, I know. For the actual show, are we doing the show?
Oh,
No.
we want to do the real intros for the show, not the pre-show. So they're just gonna come in and not know who we are.
I mean, that's what the lower thirds are for. You're gonna like introduce every time 10 new people come in.
Should we?
No.
Welcome, guys. To the
Well, you never know what the pre-show's like, so why are you telling us how to do our
Yeah,
jobs?
you're right. You know what? Why don't I just go outside? I'll come in 30
Wait,
minutes.
yeah, wait for 30
I'll
minutes.
pop
we
back
don't
in.
even have a MarkZ timer this time.
All right.
Yeah.
For anyone who's just joining in, we are doing the Jimmies today. We're going to be granting awards, very prestigious awards, to different players for different things that they've done over the split thus far.
And what better week to give awards than Oscars week? We're throwing our own mini Oscars right here.
Oh shit! The Oscars are this week?
Yeah.
I had no idea. I never pay attention. to that
This
stuff.
was not planned, actually. I was talking to Scarra, and I was like, hey, why don't we do a mid-season award show on the week off because no one gives a shit about IM.
Yeah, originally I was like, why don't we do IM? And he gave the very convincing argument that no one cares.
Yeah.
So...
I mean, am I wrong?
No, especially because our show is primarily North American based.
Right.
There's no NA teams at IEM, so we really shouldn't be talking about the IEM because it's like more international than what we usually cover.
Yeah, and also IM has no NA team, so
Isn't that
we're.
what I just said?
He literally just said
I know,
that.
yeah. I'm
just
reiterating because I was gonna say.
because we got one new viewer in between.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, I'm MarkZ. I'd like to thank you guys for coming to see the pre-show, too. Oh, God.
I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done.
So instead of doing IM, we were like, let's do a mid-season award show, and then like I started brainstorming. I was like, let's call it the Jimmies. We'll do all this stuff for it. And then someone was like, that like the Oscars are this week as well. And we're like, what?
Perfect timing.
Perfect timing. The only award show you need to watch this weekend, the Jimmies.
Yeah.
It's gonna be better. You're gonna see more famous people on this show than you will in the Oscars.
Wait, do people know where Jimmy's comes from?
Oh yeah, so why don't you explain
Oh,
Jimmy?
God,
Yeah,
okay.
because I don't know. I mean, like I'm sure Jimmy, like your
All right,
fans
so
know, but
a lot of people call me Jimmy in the scene. Like Peter always calls me Jimmy. Bunch of the people I live with do. So my full name is William Jimmy Lee, and
is it James or Jimmy?
it's William Jimmy Lee. My
Wow.
dad's name is James. So like because I was like the son, my mom was like, we should name him Jimmy because that's like the younger version of James kind of stuff, And so stop, why are you laughing at my name? What the heck?
William Jimmy Lee.
And anyways, when I grew up, I hated the name William. So it's all my official stuff. So I would just tell people, call me Jimmy. And so after I like would meet some guy or talk, are you guys okay? I'm just explaining my history here, okay?
Yeah, dude.
You guys are just
Keep going,
laughing
dude.
at
No,
me.
here, we'll turn the mic. You can't hear.
Okay, so anytime I hang out with people. I'm just like, just call me Jimmy. Like, if they ask you, it's like, call me Scarra or call me Jimmy. And so what is wrong with you guys?
I just think it's so funny.
The
chat's cracking me up.
Yeah.
My time to Jimmy. Like,
Jimmy Ming Lee or whatever. Ming Jimmy Lee. Holy shit.
Anyways, so a lot of my friends call me Jimmy, and we decided to name the award the Jimmies after the best player that's ever played the game.
Yeah. Just like, there's the Lombardi trophy. We got the Jimmies for the greatest coach. CLG.
I think next year what we should aim for our next split is we'll actually have physical Jimmy awards.
I'll try and figure out if I can get a real Jimmy thing, because this was so last minute. We'll we'll probably do an end of season one too, after playoffs and everything, where we have everything kind of figured out. But yeah, last night we all saw Get Out.
Yeah, the horror movie,
the white guilt movie, or whatever.
It's thriller. Comedy is the best way to describe it. It's great. I actually really like it.
I thought it was good.
Yeah, I will say worth seeing. I am not so. So this is what happened. Mark was like, "Oh, people are gonna go see a movie. You got to hurry up. We're gonna see it." And I was like, I don't know. It's last minute. I don't want to spend $20 to watch. And I look at my phone, and the first thing on Twitter is just people being like, "Oh my God, Get Out is so good. You got to go watch it." I was like, "All right, fine, I'll go with." And I had no expectation going into this movie. I had no idea what I was going to see. I had seen no trailers for it. All I knew that it was supposed to be a horror movie. The movie's not a horror movie at all.
No, that's what I thought too. Because
I saw the trailers and they kind of build it as a horror movie.
Yes.
But I knew it was a comedy too. But I just wasn't scared.
I thought it was going to be a horror movie, and I hate horror movies. But Yuna bought my ticket for me the day before. He's like, "You're coming." I'm just like, I guess, sure. I'm the type of guy who closes his eyes and puts his hands over his ears.
Yeah.
And Mark sat next to me during the event, so he was trying to jump scare me the entire movie. He was just the music would start building up, and he just elbows me in the stomach, and I'm just like, oh.
Yeah. I had to. Nothing else was scary in the movie, so I had to throw my own in there.
Yeah. So honestly, Mark was the scariest thing in the movie for me. It's not really a horror.
Well, and because it's about white people being evil, and I'm one of the few white guys in the theater around us. It was all Asians and black people, and I was like...
And so it's going to be kind of funny because it's made by Jordan Peele, which, by the way, also paid us for this endorsement.
I didn't see any of that.
All right, paid me for this endorsement.
What the heck?
Yeah, what the fuck? That movie sucks.
Yo,
don't go see it.
Get me paid.
My DMs are open though if you want to
sponsor us.
Yeah, you can let me know.
Sponsor
I'll change my opinion. What?
You're talking about your DMs, dude.
No, my DMs aren't open. Don't talk to me.
No one talked to me ever. But yeah, I don't know. The movie was okay.
I liked it.
I thought the concept was pretty...
I liked it. I don't want to ruin it for you guys. It's good. You should watch it.
Damn it. I was about to ruin it because it ties into this other movie that, if you've seen it, it's, kind of the same idea, and they stole it.
I think it's too early. It's literally, the opening weekend for Get Out, so you can't, spoil it.
Usually Twitch chat spoils shit for us. It's time to spoil it for Twitch chat.
Yeah.
Can I spoil it?
No!
Just a little bit.
This is on my stream. If this is your stream, I'd be like, yeah, dude, go for it.
These are the Jimmies.
These are the guys who come back to my stream the next day and be like, I was going to watch Get Out, but I was watching the Jimmies, and you guys just ruined it for me.
All right. No, I mean... I'm not going to spoil too much. I'm just going to... It spoils a lot if you've seen the movie I'm about to reference.
What the heck?
All right. We're moving on from this. Hey,
yeah.
Mark, you want to show people the back of your shirt?
So yesterday was an interesting day overall. Besides the movie and the fried chicken, I went shopping for shirts. I have the same 6 shirts I wear all the time.
Yep.
So I got
all
this
Team Liquid.
Yeah, they're all... Well, there's the Team Liquid ones, and there's the non-Team Liquid ones for a total of 6 shirts. Anyways, I saw this shirt. Let me show you this. All right, I thought this was cute. It's just a cat, and it's time to get up. Holy shit, where we go? There we go, right? And it's a cool shirt color, so I was like, all right, this is a nice shirt. And then today, I put the shirt on. I never looked at the back of the shirt, and the back of the shirt is just... Do you see this? It's just a cat sitting on a clock that says 4:20. the shirt is just about getting high. I did not know what I bought.
You bought a shirt that says Wake and Bake.
Yeah, basically.
So basically, what we're trying to say is that Mark is a giant pothead. It's been confirmed.
I mean, our pre-show is getting a little spicy, dude. Yeah. My jacket came off. Your jacket came off. There, showing people your shirt.
Every time I wear this shirt now, I'm gonna have to have some kind of other thing on top of it because I'm God damn, I'm not a pothead.
So
everyone thinks I'm a pothead too, by the way, because the blame game when I shoot it, like my eyes just aren't super open, and everyone just thinks I'm stoned all the time.
That's not what my eyes aren't super open whenever I do any content.
Yeah.
They're just like,
Wait,
Yeah, but they expect that, whereas they're like, this is a white guy, he
Oh.
should have eyes, and then they're just not there.
Oh my god.
Oh, we're out of control. But yeah, that was an interesting day because I was just not. I just didn't think I was gonna get a shirt that made me seem like this much of a pothead. I mean, like the colors are kind of there, right? Like this, like you would think this would be.
And
the
it's
kind
like
of thing.
Alice in Wonderland.
Well, so I thought it was the Cheshire Cat.
Yeah,
which
it
I was.
kind of is.
It kind of is. So I was like, oh, this is a cool shirt. But then it's just all about getting high. So. Bummer.
Urban Outfitters. You know.
Yeah. So the other thing was Urban Outfitters. It was $30 for this shirt, and then we went to H&M, and I bought 4 shirts for $8 each.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, why did I just spend $30 on a shirt that I don't even care that much about? Which is also trying to make me look like a pothead. I didn't even know that.
You just had a very eventful day yesterday. You know what I did? I streamed.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Tell me a little about your stream yesterday. You play something cool?
I went 0-7
On what?
on everything.
Oh, like you didn't win a single game.
I thought you meant like...
I went 0. I lost 7 games in a row.
Dude, I get so tilted after I lose 3 in a row that I just stop right there. I'm just like, I'm
Yeah.
That's the worst thing about being a streamer, though, because like the small talk is like, oh, what do you do? Like, how'd your day go, dude? And like my answer to all the small talk questions when people talk to me are just like really lame. They're just like, so how was your day? It's like I streamed for 9 hours and then I ate ground turkey, and they're just like, but what else? And it's like that's all I did, dude. Like I went to sleep and like I talked with my manager and my roommate, and that's it. I did that 5 days in a row.
That's basically like when I'm doing the work week. It's like, so I talked about League of Legends, and then I got food with Scarra, and I went to bed, and that's my entire day.
Yeah, I feel like such an old man now. Actually, I go to sleep like I'm like in bed by like 11 or 12. I'm just
really?
Like, yeah, I actually am every day.
I go to bed. I went to bed at like 1.
2. I go to bed around 2 every night.
I crashed early last night.
Yeah, but you guys are
sleep
young
earlier.
people, man. I'm the old.
We're
old are you?
all like so old for the
I'm
esports
27.
scene.
I'm 25. I'm gonna be 26 in a couple
Yeah, I'm
months.
gonna turn 26.
Yeah, that's why I'm the old dog. Dude. You guys got a couple more years to live. I'm
Oh my
approaching
God.
the
actually,
exit, the dead end.
I'm
kind of
creeped out. Can you go?
You
Miles,
pedophile.
we need a third. No.
What?
No, like it's so crazy to me. Like when we were at the movies, we were there with Addie, and she brought her friend, and she was like 18 or something, and I was just like, that feels way like the age difference between us and 18 now is just like so big.
It was especially obvious because she had to ask for permission from her parents.
Yeah,
to
I was
eat
like,
with us
oh
after
my
the
god,
movie, and I was just
like
like
I feel uncomfortable. Why am I hanging out with this child?
Legit, when I heard that, I was like, she's kidding, right? There's no way. And it's like, oh no, she's serious.
And then her parents actually pick her up.
Yeah, I was like,
It's just like, oh.
I definitely had a little moment where I was like, man, how old am I? When I was shopping for clothes, and I was like, I'm buying the same clothes I would have bought like 8 years ago, and I'm 25. Like, is this what 25-year-olds wear? Like, am I like trying to look like? Am I like was it Steve
The hey
Buscemi?
kids,
Yeah, like the
yeah.
hey fellow youngsters. Like, am I that guy already?
Dude,
Like,
I'm
My
that
favorite
guy.
thing about that GIF, by the way, is that I don't know if you guys noticed this, but he has 2 skateboards.
I've never noticed that.
He's got 2 skateboards. He's like, "Hey kids," you only notice the one, but he actually has 2. It makes it so much funnier to me. All right. Well, it's been about 15 minutes since we started the show. Should we get started?
Yeah, I'm down.
I'm down, dude. Let's not drag it out on.
All right, so
All right.
to recap the format of the show, since we are officially starting, this is the Jimmys. It is the mid-season award show hosted by all 3 of us. The way that this is going to be done is that we're going to start out with the top 3 at every position. We haven't really talked about this between ourselves yet, and so there's going to be a lot of debating. And then after we get through the top 3 at each position, we're going to go into specific awards like biggest disappointment, MVP, those kinds of things. And there we've already talked about the nominations and who we're going to put forward for that.
Yep.
And then at the end of the show, we'll finish things off with a prediction for what's going to happen coming into playoffs, which teams we think will make playoffs.
Yep. All right. So this is our first post-league time, even though there was no league today.
Yep. No.
But we're gonna be doing this thing. So should we get started?
You guys
You
are all
good?
looking at me. I got.
You haven't
go.
said anything
I
yet.
thought
I know.
You haven't said anything
I
for
thought
like
you were
5
gonna do
minutes.
I thought you were gonna do the intro. You're gonna just introduce everyone, and this is PLT.
This is
All
PLT, post-league time, hosted
Welcome to
by...
post-league time. Post-league time starts now. Right?
I'm Riv. Give me a beard. So Josh will be hosting the event, and
Yep.
Jimmy and I will be the expert panel.
All right, guys. So let's
Jimmy.
get started here. We're gonna
William
be talking
Scarra.
about Jimmy. Top 3 supports. Let's go.
All right, so top 3 supports. I feel like between. I think there's one clear nomination.
Right.
I think there's 2 clear nominations.
You put Smoothie on there 100%.
Smoothie's on there 100%.
I think Afro has a...
Ooh, that's a spicy pick.
I don't know if I agree with Afro.
I have a CLG shirt in my closet if you want to put
I
that on right now.
So you just turn it inside out?
Dude, come on, dude. I had to like scratch it off from the front.
Yeah,
people
CLG
would judge me.
tattoo.
Do you have Biofrost on yours?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Okay.
let's agree on Biofrost being in the top 3.
Oh, and the third one... okay.
I don't know if I put... Afro
yeah.
had a really bad start of the season.
Yeah, I think he had three and a half weeks where he played really bad. So I would say in the last week and a half, he's actually looked really good. But that doesn't take away from like his earlier performance.
Right, so that's something that's a problem with me. Whereas like I think Lemon is someone who's been more inconsistent over the whole period, but he didn't like look. He was never like straight out bad.
Yeah, he was never like intentionally feeding.
Right,
like,
there's games,
periods of time where Afro's
just like dying in lane doing nothing. You're like, what was he thinking? Like he'll be like just caught out. Whereas I felt like Lemon, even though they lost some laning phases or he'll die sometimes, it's usually like, oh, I was making like a good play.
What about Adrian?
So Adrian's close to me. He was probably my other one. I didn't
if
even
you
have
throw in Lemon into the top 3, like Adrian should be like right there because I feel like they're kind of similar.
So I actually didn't have Afro because I disliked the first couple of weeks so much from him, and I had Adrian as like my kind of fringe one. And the thing I always say about Adrian is he's just like he does everything okay. But he's never like super impressive. You're never oh my god, he hooked that guy out of that thing, or like they're crushing bot lane.
Usually, though, the thing I see about Adrian is that I don't think he lanes super well. Like obviously,
his laning is not.
He's had to build synergy with Arrow, so I'll give him a little bit. But just in general, I don't think his laning's ever been like phenomenal. But I think that he plays team fights in the mid game out pretty well, and he gets vision out pretty well.
Right, so
and then that's like when I say pretty, like that's the thing though. Like whoever we're nominating for this third position is not going to win this award.
No. But it's nice to get the bronze medal, right? You want some medal.
Okay.
What about Hakuho? Isn't he like your like kind of like?
I think Envy's kind of
played
so hard, and just look at how ᵐᵉ puts pressure on the map.
Yeah.
Like he's been bought twice the whole season.
Yeah.
Like it's like very rare for their bot lane to get that much pressure. Actually, that's not true. It's worse for Dig. But for them, it's probably like they get bot lane pressure like 10 to 15% of the time, whereas Dig gets like 5.
Right.
And so, but even then, they really don't get much time to shine. I think he's actually played out some laning phases really well, but then it doesn't really matter because they can't push it into leads.
Right. So I know what you're saying. It's like even if he is good, it's impossible to to make that argument.
Yeah. So like unless they're performing out of their mind on the lower, like they're the last place team. They're tied with last place with Team Liquid. And I don't see you nominating Matt in this award. That's all I'm going to say.
Well,
what are you?
So let's get back to the top 3.
All right, so quite clearly we're going to put Smoothie at the top, right?
Well, it'll be like the top 2 are Smoothie, Biofrost.
Yeah, for sure. So
and
those
then,
2. And then the third one's kind of a toss-up, it sounds like, honestly.
Yeah, I actually think I have more memorable moments from Adrian, but I think Lemon plays better in the context of his team.
I don't even know, like the most memorable thing I think about Adrian is like the last time that he ran mid and kind of like helped Ryu get a kill mid. Whereas I feel like Lemon does that all the time, or like he's always
like the biggest thing about FlyQuest is they're well known for their bot lane rotating mid.
Right. Yeah.
And that's very rare for any other team, but that's like a team thing, so it's hard to be like. I guess it's led by Lemon.
Potentially, we don't even know if that's true.
Yeah,
maybe they're like, we have pressure, and then High's like, come mid. Like that could easily be the conversation.
Well, it's funny because listening to you guys' discussion, it seems like you have a couple of buckets here for the third people. It's like people who don't fuck up, and then people who actually do something.
In my personal opinion, Afro would be in this top 3 category because of his last week and a half play, but I can't give it to him.
But yeah, we have to look at the holistically over the
he played so bad the early split, so it's.
I mean, based off of what you guys are saying, though, it sounds like Lemon seems the most likely to be the third spot here.
Again, we could do Lemon and then honorable mention for Adrian. I'm okay with that. And then the 5th place would be Afro for me.
All right. Top 3, but we're gonna list 5.
Yeah. Okay. So there's our 2 honorable mentions in our 3rd place, and already we're gonna just scrap the 3rd place. Like I'm sorry.
Yeah, top 2.
Yeah, it's actually like a top 2 running.
Yeah. I think between Biofrost and Smoothie, it's really not too close to me. I think Smoothie...
It's just way better.
Smoothie's really, really good. And I think even with the kind of downward trend we've seen out of Cloud9, hardly any of it feels like it's come from Smoothie. It feels almost exclusively between Jensen and Impact and Contracts.
Even if you like listen to their comps, like because I think some of their comps have been shown or leaked out, like how they do team fights, it's great. Like Smoothie's talks all the time. His champion pool is great. He's one of the best players in lane. He works like one of the best with Sneaky, who's also like a top 3 AD carry right now.
Yeah.
So,
and that's a good segue because the next people we're talking about
is ADs. I think, okay, so for Biofrost, one of the things that's just really hard for me to say, and honestly it might not even be his fault, is like obviously in this current meta, laning phase matters a lot.
Yeah.
And him and Turtle just like Turtle doesn't lane that well.
Turtle's always like a notoriously weak laner, and like he's not a horrible laner. When people say that, it's just like he's not a horrible laner where he gets ran over all the time. But he's prone to dying when he shouldn't. He's prone to like not being able to pressure as hard as he should. And Biofrost was able to do that with Doublelift, not able to do that in this current meta. But I still see him making so many good plays. Like his Thresh game, I think it was last week, was just like nuts in terms of like he was just kept like hooking Jaces like out of their queues and stuff like that. Like
I think he's been very impressive alongside Smoothie, but I think Smoothie just like him being able to have like I can definitively say his Taric looks like the best in the LCS, right? Like his
one of the only
champion adaptations, I guess, allows C9 to draft very uniquely.
I don't know.
Yeah. Either way, so the top 3 goes Smoothie, Biofrost, Lemon Nation.
Sure.
And who really cares at the third place? In this particular role?
And this one.
The third one is like very close with the other 2 being like pretty far ahead right now.
Okay, let's move on to top 3 AD carries. Obviously, like I think everyone knows he's on the screen. We got this guy. Hold on, let me
dude, I don't know anything about Arrow. This dude could be like a horrible person for all I know, but I love me some Arrow. He's just like, look at that face. Wait, make that big again. Look at that face. He's so happy, and he's got this goofy ass hair. I love this dude.
I love Arrow. Like if you follow me on any social media, you've seen me anywhere. Just look. Yeah. No, don't even say that. I've seen what you say about him on the desk. You're just like, I love Arrow.
Dude, I got Arrow's balls like all over my. Like he got deep in like in that. I love Arrow. I love Arrow.
Yeah, I mean,
Jesus Christ.
I honestly, so Arrow's going up. I think. Yeah. At the very least, in top 3, Stixxay.
I think the top 3 is really easy for me. I think it's Arrow, Stixxay, Smoothie. Not necessarily in that order.
Sneaky. Dude, Smoothie's so good at support.
Have you seen his Taric? He's like last hitting with the speed up on the pat. No.
I'm like trying to think of the other ones, and it's like a lot of people who tend to be like fill roles rather than just hard carry. So like for instance, in the like, top 4 teams, right?
Like All-Tech.
You would look at All-Tech, and
yeah, you got some good MF ults.
Yeah.
Like you move around the map well with your team.
This is probably one of the, especially with Stixxay being here, this is one of the more unique facets because like COG is like a 5th or 6th place team right now, but every time I look bot lane, I'm just like, Stixxay is carrying this lane.
Right. I would say Stixxay relative to Sneaky and Arrow has more mistakes, but I feel like he's also the most aggressive in lane, where he's like really trying hard to like build a lead for himself because he knows he's an important part of CLG. Whereas I feel like Arrow and Smoothie can play a little less aggressive, and it suits their style.
I think Sneaky plays a lot less aggressive. Like you'll not see him make that Jhin play that where he gets like the kill like pressuring with like flash Q on the enemy team. Like that was crazy. That was wild when I saw Stixxay do that.
Yeah. So like Stixxay plays the most aggressive, does make more mistakes off of it, but I think it's kind of necessary in CLG. So I don't know where you value that though. Like, do you value that higher than Sneaky being the consistent force that he is? Like,
I think it's in context of your team, right? So like, like you were saying before, like Stixxay has to make those plays because his team doesn't have enough playmakers on their own, right? Like this is kind of sort of the same story that we thought we'd see with Piglet, right? And Team Liquid, like you're this like all-star AD carry, like you need to be the driving force behind your team. And in the case of the other two, right? Like if we're talking about Arrow, he has other people that he can rely on, right?
To a degree,
to a degree. I think the better contrast is like Sneaky. Like,
for
Sneaky is like just look at his soul laners. Like arguably, like especially earlier in the split, like week 3, they were the best top and mid lane.
Yeah, and even Impact
and even jungler too. Like their jungler was doing great.
Yeah.
I mean, Contract was doing good. The first couple of weeks when he was getting Kha'Zix lead every game, he looked way better.
He looked way better
really
back then.
Yeah. I think so. What I'd say is I feel like as scary as this is, like Arrow could step up even more. I feel like if they just like started winning bot lanes even harder, because right now they win some bot lanes, they lose some bot lanes, but they're not the.
It's not impressive.
It's not consistent. It's not impressive. Whereas like he could get even better. And I think like P1 is the kind of team that could channel more through their bot lane potentially, because
I think the two that can improve is also Stixxay, because ♂ has been playing really bad early in the season, and recently has been playing really well.
So I guess I think between you and I, we agree on where Arrow is. Where would you put Sneaky versus Stixxay, 2 or 3 for them?
This is really hard because it's hard because Sneaky's on such a good team. You know, if Sneaky's team was more along the lines of CLG's, where like it'd be easier for me to adjust, but they're like.
Yeah, but I mean, Sneaky's been on not great teams before. Like C9 missed playoffs once. Like C9 lost in the first round of playoffs once, and like Sneaky always looked fine.
Yeah, Sneaky's always great. I think I would say Stixxay. I think Stixxay is actually.
If it was raining, you would have drowned.
Yeah, he's a chicken. Just I think I go Sneaky too. I think these are the mid-season awards for a reason. If Afro stays on his game and is able to help Stixxay push his leads as hard as he can push them, I think you go with the Stixxay number 2 later. But for right now, first half of the season included.
Actually, what's really impressive to me is that Sneaky didn't have a great last year, but I think this season he's played like really well. I think the one thing that you said that like actually like makes me think a lot is just the number of mistakes that Stixxay has. You know, because you have positioning errors all the time. Like, he plays up a lot, but he'll also be playing up too far, you know?
Right.
The overextension.
The amount of times that CLG is, like, grouped mid trying to take an inner turret and Stixxay dies early on, you know, CLG's, like, not in the right formation either, but he's so far forward, and then he gets, like, caught out by a flank.
I think that right now, I'd be willing to give it to Sneaky, but I also think Sneaky of the top 3 has the lowest chance, lowest chance to like skyrocket. You know, I can very easily at the end of the season be like it's Arrow and Stixxay and then Sneaky.
Right, because I think Sneaky has never shown like that quite lane dominance that you would hope for, and like I mean Stixxay has shown it a little bit. I think I would have to check the stats again, but at least previously he was the highest.
He's like he's one of the highest CS per minute. I think he was the highest on ADs of all ADs in the league.
So,
I'm not sure if it's still the case.
Right, so it sounds like what we're doing officially.
It's Sneaky's 2. I'm good.
Sneaky's 2. All right, so we're doing number 1 is going to Arrow. Number 2, Sneaky.
And
then
Stixxay. I don't really think I could say more about Arrow. Like everything's okay. The number 1.
Hold on, I gotta say this.
What?
Arrow, Sneaky, Stixxay, AD carry, ass.
2017.
Like the best summary for 80 carries in general. Ass.
Jesus. The most impressive thing is right now in the current meta, you need to be able to hit skill shots very, very well. And Arrow is probably the best at hitting skill shots of any of the ADs. He's actually incredible.
What was funny is I think Arrow's like number 2 or 3 in the league in terms of DPM.
Yes, he's number 2.
Yeah, and Dom tweeted like, man, how bad are 80 carries if one of them is, it's like, dude, this is Arrow on Varus and Jhin. This is not an 80. This dude's like just a sniper.
Yeah, like he is the exception, the far exception, you know?
Yeah, for sure. So that's that one.
We're going to move into jungle.
Top 3 jungle. This one's actually, I think, really hard.
Okay, so I think Moon Goat comes in here. Even with his bad week, I think I would easily have given him an Acadian, or at least him alone, he had one bad week.
So. Yeah, I mean, I think you can extend the same mostly logic to Acadian as well. I think he looked worse in his bad week, where he was doing stuff that was doing stuff that was straight bad.
Wait, we're talking about Acadian? Or?
Acadian.
Yeah, Acadian looked way worse than his bad, because he was like literally just like at some point
killing himself in the jungle. Yeah.
Yes. So even Moon's bad week didn't look as bad. I think he's had a great season so far.
Right. So I think Moon, I'm down within top 3.
Sven.
You think Sven's your third?
No, I think he is one of the 3. So wait, let me think. There's Dardoch.
There's Rainover.
Get that guy.
God,
all right.
I would put Lyra above Rainover.
I would probably as well.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, I don't even know how good Lyra is. Like, the thing is, Lyra is actually like
Lyra's he's like a little bit of an enigma to me, because he just farms early and then is in the right spot, and it's like, is that difficult to do? Because everyone else is playing aggressive. Everyone else is like in your shit. Contracts even is like killing people in their jungle when he gets a lead, and like Lyra doesn't play that way.
But I feel like he plays like smart a lot of times.
Right. It's like, oh, that was nice, that was good, but it's rarely like that wow factor where he's like crushing somebody.
Okay.
Anyways, we're doing
okay. So usually the way I see this is we would just go from the top 5 teams and we'd be like, okay, so which of these jugglers look like the best, you know? And so honestly, of the top 5 teams, only Moon. Like that's why for me, Sven's kind of iffy.
I'm all right more with Sven.
I think Sven's good, Moon's good, and it's probably Acadian and Dardoch.
Right. So between those two, I think when Acadian's looking good, he looks better than Dardoch. Because like even when Dardoch's looking good, he has that bad play like every game almost like. And it's not the game throwing play. It's just like that was an overextension. You guys lose.
It's not the game throwing play.
Not always.
I still remember his flash over the Raptor camp or the Wraith wall. He literally died, killed Pole Belter, and I was just like, you lose. You're getting
not always. Not always. So like when Dardoch's playing well, I always say this. He'll make two good plays for every bad play, and that's like what Dardoch is. He'll like get you leads, and he'll kind of throw one, and he'll get you another lead.
I think recently it's more the ratio is more 3-1.
Yeah, it's definitely improving as well because obviously the whole team's gelling better. But Acadian, when he's playing well, it just takes over the game hands down.
Yes.
So I think like his highs are much higher than Dardoch.
It's just how would you rate that? The worst thing for me is if in the last week a lot of people dropped the ball. You know, Acadian, Moon, Impact. All these people dropped the ball to where I would definitively have been like, this is the best jungler in the region. Right. But the last week was like,
and Nori's not even in the scene.
Nori dropped the ball super hard, and then Dardoch the last week and a half has just poured.
Yeah, Dardoch's like, I think you know, Immortals has turned it around really heavily in the last 2 weeks, and mostly all of it's off the back of Dardoch, and then their bot lane kind of figuring their shit out.
Yes, and their mid lane
has stabilized a little bit.
He's just not dying solo like at 10 minutes.
Twice.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's no longer the most deaths in the league, like, you know.
I think that what you guys touched upon, though, in terms of just, like, MVPs in general, is, like, do you value consistency more than the higher ceilings, right? Like,
I see a lot of people asking, like, before we get into that, about contracts.
Oh, yeah.
I don't...
Because, well, so we kind of mentioned this a little bit earlier, but he had a great start to the season, and then he dropped off very, very hard.
Even in the great start, it's because I thought the other teams just weren't good.
I think there was a lot of things at play. Like one is C9 was clearly the best team, and he basically always was playing with 3 winning lanes.
And I think jungling is much easier when all 3 of your
when
lanes
you don't have to worry about invades, you don't have to worry about covering turrets, you don't have to worry about all this stuff, and you get to do whatever you want. It's way easier to jungle. So he benefited from that. He benefited from teams looking worse, and I think he benefited from people not knowing how to deal with him. Where it was like, okay, he's really nasty on like Lee. His Rengar's like. Okay, but then when he gets on to like Graves and some of these other things, it starts not looking as great. So I think all 3 of those things kind of played into it. Like C9 started slumping, other teams started improving. The meta's changing a little bit.
And even though C9's a top 2 team, every time if you ask how do you beat C9, everyone will say through their jungler.
Yeah,
you know, or maybe recently Impact. You know,
yeah.
Impact dropped the ball hard the last week and a half, and so it's just I feel like contract is the most exploitable.
Right. This isn't to say contracts is bad, but I think he's one of the players who benefits from having a good team. The same way people had criticism about Biofrost last year, where it was like, how good is he really when he's landing with double lift and they're on this like crazy ass team? How good does he really need to be? He just plays Karma and like presses RE on the team. I think contracts is in a little bit of that situation where we haven't seen him in the LCS before. He's looked good, but not as dominant.
I think for a rookie season, he's still doing great.
Right.
And it's just that our expectations of rookies are insane because of Acadian.
Yeah.
I think Acadian and Dardoch, when he first blew out,
his first split was like, whoa.
Yeah, like we have really high expectations of rookie junglers. And a lot of people, I still consider Moon like a rookie jungler. I don't remember his energy.
You don't remember energy?
Energy doesn't even count.
You don't remember his like one game on TL?
TL, dude, look at TL now, dude. That's all I gotta say.
I mean, that was a different time. That was a different team.
Did they go to the Worlds in that team?
No. Has Moon
I
gone to
just
the Worlds
think
on
it's
anything?
so funny that like all these ex-Team Liquid players are doing way better with their respective
The
teams.
amount of talent that's gone to the Team Liquid organization is more than any other org in the entire scene.
Yeah, I mean, they got a great eye and they develop players and they send them off to, it's like
better patches.
It's like, here you go. They're just like a great training program. Like
they're like the giant stork, that like
if you're a challenger player and you want to have a great LCS career, go fuck up in TL for a split and then move on. And
oh my god!
And then boom, you're in the LCS. There you go.
God damn.
Okay, so that's the reason why contracts isn't very high up the bar for me.
Yeah.
And on the third place spot, I would give it to either of them. I think one has the most kills in the league. I think someone in chat has 124 or 126.
Yeah, Acadian has the most.
And then Dardoch has a 74% kill participation.
Right.
So I think Dardoch's is maybe more impressive, but that might be very much recent stuff. So just like I didn't give ᵐᵉᵐᵉ credit for having 3 weeks of failure, I think it's really tough to give Dardoch credit for having like
two good weeks.
Yeah, he had 2 good weeks.
Yeah. And in the past, he was like just way more inconsistent. He kind of cut out the inconsistent games.
And so I think I don't want to discount Acadian's incredible legit all-star performance.
Borderline, people were talking about this dude as MVP through the first 4 weeks, basically.
Yes, and so I think even though he fell off super hard last week, I'll give it to him. And I think the honorable
people
mention,
have bad weeks. I have a hard time reading too hard into one awful week.
The honorable mention goes to Dardoch because I think he's doing great right now. He's actually doing fantastic.
So top 2, Sven, Moon. Who do you give it to? My problem with Moon is I respect having weird picks, but sometimes they look really bad.
I mean, the Shaco game.
The Kindred game.
Yeah.
Yeah. The thing is, I also think that it's okay to have those types of games if you build the comp correctly around it. I thought the Shaco was it the Shaco game?
I didn't think the Shaco game.
No, the Shaco comp wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad.
It was like another game where they ended up doing some funky stuff. The Jarvan games where they didn't have a tank top lane.
Yeah.
Where it's it doesn't really matter how the jungle plays because their comp was all messed up.
Right. Yeah.
And so.
It's hard to know how much to put on that on Moon because while he does have weird picks, it's well, maybe you should have just played Rek'Sai there for your comp.
I'm typically more okay with weird picks. The thing that really impresses me about Moon is a lot of people talk about High, and maybe High does micromanagement. Maybe it's Moon, go over here, do this, and after you're done doing that, go over here, do this, and just make us look good, you know?
Yeah.
And then when I look at Sven, I still don't think he's great, you know? His biggest problem is okay, he has to get stuff started for TSM, him and Bjerg. And some of the times he doesn't.
I think it's the same way, too, where we're talking about contracts benefiting from a good team. TSM's still a really good team. And I think Sven's a really good player, but I think sometimes he can benefit from having, a great mid laner and a great top laner and, an overall okay bot lane. And some games he just doesn't do much, but his team still wins. The Envy series where they 2-0'd Envy, they just lost the early game super hard. And it was what was Sven doing these early games? Nothing.
Yes.
And then they just win because they're a better team than Envy.
I think generally TSM is looking great as a team. They're all improving over time, but mid-season starts ended just recently. I still think Moon deserves the award.
And okay,
it's because
are you putting Sven over Acadian, by the way?
Oh.
Because we kind of talked about this Acadian was third, but
I thought that's what you said.
No, I wasn't putting Acadian third.
All right, then at the very top, I put Moon.
So, top, you put Moon. Interesting. Okay.
So you want to go Moon, Acadian, Sven? I think that's what I would do.
So the thing about me is we're talking about players who drop the ball and players who did really well recently, right? Sven's the type of guy who did okay, you know? He's average, and then now he's above average.
Right.
That's the way I see it.
Right, but I think the thing is the team never relied on Sven. So when he had bad games, other people picked up the slack. Whereas when Acadian has a bad game, who's picking up the slack?
So that's what I wanted to bring up. Let's do a thought experiment here. If you put Acadian in Moon's shoes, do you think Acadian would pop off harder than Moon? I think so, right? I think if you're trying to decide who the most valuable player is based off of what they do for their team, I actually don't agree that Moon should be the top pick there.
Oh,
I think.
I don't know.
I see Moon and Acadian as pretty similar, where both teams heavily rely on their early game.
Yeah, but I just think a lot of times I look at Moon's pathing, I'm just this guy's smart. He's really intelligent but I don't know again if that's him or High.
Yeah, and also here's the thing too. We talk about oh my god, this jungler's so smart, blah 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 blah, right? But honestly, this meta doesn't really reward the smartest junglers, right? People always talk about, oh my god, Reignover's pathing is so good, he's so smart, and it doesn't matter.
I think it rewards aggressive junglers, but it also rewards brains. But it's less so on the brains part.
Yeah, because if you look at the leads Reignover gets, the problem is that he can't convert them into anything because Team Liquid is bad, and then he sucks on the champions he's getting these leads on. His Rengar will get the most disgusting advantages. Same with his Graves. His Graves is the one that he can convert it in, and that shows how important it can be if you're a smart jungler getting leads. Because his Graves gets a lead through farming and small pressure things, and then come mid game he pops off. The problem is on every other champion he can't pop off.
Yeah.
Lear's the same kind of way where it's like he's doing a lot of it on Rek'Sai. Like Rek'Sai can't pop off.
I think these guys just are incomplete, right? Like they don't have the full mastery of the
right. But
jungle.
I'm saying I'm using this to say that I think being smart's really important. It's just that like a lot of the smartest guys in the league right now don't use that well.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's just like a really unique champion pool because Rengar has never been like super meta. Like it wasn't the #1 pick except for like maybe I think sometime in season 3 and 4 when Dandy was playing a lot of Rengar, right?
Well, that was like the place where the NA Rengar meme came
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's kind of the same, similar now. Like only like the really good Rengar players, like the one trick, like Akadia, Inori,
Dardoch
are looking great on Rengar. But you look like Sven on Rengar, Contracts on Rengar. Reignover, it's disgusting.
Well, Reignover had a good Rengar when it was tank Rengar.
Let's roll this back though.
Okay.
Let's just talk about again. Like I want to get your guys' opinion on this. Like if you were to put Acadian into Moon Shoes, or like
I think it'd be even or close.
I think it's relatively close.
Yeah, I think it's relatively close. The biggest difference for me is if I put Sven in that, I have no idea where it's going.
And then the other thing I wanted to stipulate too is like. I think junglers in particular, we touched upon this a little bit earlier, is that they benefit the most from having a good team around them. And I wonder if, like, Moon, because he's surrounded by a better team than Acadian...
But we can't know.
We can't know, but one thing I'll say is, like, FlyQuest isn't like a TSM or a C9 where they're just like, we're better laners, we're going to get micro advantages and pressure, and then, like, Haunsters just runs mid and sets Bjerg up for a kill sometimes. Like, that's something that doesn't happen a ton. I guess it does happen on FlyQuest. Like, their bot lane goes up mid and shit like that, huh? Yeah, I guess it does happen a little bit on FlyQuest.
It's more like a whole team thing. Like, I think the biggest stat to look at when you're looking at this is just look at highest CS at 10. He's got, I think it was the 10th in the league. I think now it's, I think now it's the 9th in the league. And so this guy is not laning. Like, he is just roaming, usually with his jungler, and him and Moon decide the entire game at the very beginning. And I think that a lot of the other teams wish they could have this mid-jungle synergy.
Right, and that's one thing I'll say is that as good as Acadian is, it doesn't seem like he and Froggen move around together the way Hai and Moon do. And
I think they only do if Acadian's really far.
Well, right, but that's what I'm saying is it's like you don't know, like synergy doesn't necessarily translate one-to-one where it's like, okay, Acadian is individually better than Moon, you put him over with Hai and now they're better jungle mid-tandem. That's not necessarily true. Mm-hmm. So that's why if you're just using this idea of put Acadian on FlyQuest is now better, maybe not. Maybe not. I
think all of this aside, I actually do think I would put Sven third.
I would put Sven third.
The biggest thing is that like I'm happy he's kind of like he's improving.
Right.
But I still haven't really seen this kind of like super proactive play from him, and I still think his Rengar is like awful.
All right, so let's lock in 1-2 because we have. I think we can debate this, and I think what we've basically decided is that it's hard to say.
It's hard to say, but it's definitely between Acadian and Moon.
I want to put Moon there because I think Moon. He's even if he's behind, Moon does stuff. Where Acadian's behind.
I mean, how often is Acadian behind though?
Yeah, I mean this week.
This week,
yeah.
But that's it. He had one bad week.
Yeah, it's really hard to say. I mean, FlyQuest had a bad week too. I would say. Let's put Moon, Acadian, Sven. Even though I'm not 100% sold on it.
Yeah.
I think it's time to move on. Mostly.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways,
I do too.
Honorable mention, obviously, to Dardoch.
Yeah.
I think.
Dardoch's a monster, actually.
Yeah.
So, but
definitely someone who can break in the second half.
A lot of people are talking about like Smithy. I think he was the carry player for CLG for like the last year. And he's had like a really bad half split.
I think if the meta changes a little bit more, he can improve. But
to more support.
At the moment, he's playing really bad.
Yeah, I don't like his Rengar's Kha'Zix at all.
All right, we'll move on. We are going to top 3 coaches.
All right, so big disclaimer here: coaching is one of the hardest things to evaluate from the outside. Borderline impossible to do.
Yeah.
And so this is basically a like just random ass topic that we threw in here for fun. Don't take this one too seriously, guys. Like I said, it is
take
so
this
hard.
All very seriously.
But everything we say is 100% truth and fact. Yeah. So
it's Cop.
Yeah, undeniably comes in 2-0 instantly. Like how much of a genius you have to be to take the worst team, and make them beat the 3rd best team in the league. How good of a coach you have to be to do that? So good. So good.
Hey, buddy.
Right. So, like, the problem is, teams that aren't performing great right now, I think, have coaches who I generally like. Like, the CLG doesn't look great, but I think Tony's a great coach.
Oh, I've worked with him, so he's the only coach I can actually talk about. I think, and you personally have an experience with Tony, which you've told before, which is like kind of like.
What was my personal experience with Tony?
Speaks to what he does. You remember when Riot had the big
call with
all the people talking about
Well, so I actually someone mentioned it to me after I mentioned this story, was that he actually uses his analysts a fair amount as well. But I actually think that's a benefit of a coaching staff being able to correctly
assign responsibility,
assign responsibility and resources.
That's a trait of a leader.
Yeah. So I don't hold that against him. It's just like a different perspective on it.
Okay, so real talk, Reapered is somewhere in this top 3.
Reapered's at somewhere in this top 3, hands down. I'm gonna put Fly, P1 Fly. I love this dude. Like
you talk about his history, because even I, who follow the scene a lot, don't know all of his history.
So I'm not 100% sure on all of his history, but he started somewhere in the Korean scene. He was a coach for one of the Korean teams. I forget which one. His first endeavor out of Korea, he comes to here and he coaches Tip. And this is the Tip that this is after LMQ and like all the Tip things changed.
Yeah, well, how did they get to Worlds?
They didn't get to Worlds. But that doesn't matter because he was working with like this team. Do you remember how jank that team was? It was like Impact and Zhao Wei Zhao.
Wait, you're right. They didn't get to Worlds. They took the spot of the team that I'm
trying
to make
were you trying to make fun of me? Yeah. You're just too dumb to make fun of me correctly. Nice one, Scarra. Good fucking joke. LMQ got to Worlds. Then Tip bought LMQ or whatever the name change shit happened. Yeah.
Yep.
And then they just had crazy like rosters all the time where it was like you had Impact and Zhao Wei Zhao or something, and then Impact
and Rush,
and then Rush comes in, and they had like Adrian and Gate, and like they got top 4 both times with rosters that were really like up in the air and kind of weird. He goes to China after season 4. He spent season 4
RNG
or season 5. Sorry, it was season 5. I think he was on RNG, which was one of the top Chinese teams, and he helped them and coached them. And then he came back for P1. And I think he might have bounced around even more. I'm not exactly sure what he did in season 6. I think he might have still been in RNG. Oh, no, in season 5 was Tip. He was in season 5 Tip, season 6 RNG, season 7 now back here. And P1's looking good. So overall, I rate Fly really high. And I've only ever heard good things about him.
I've heard an okay amount of things. It's not much. That's the problem. Like, I don't know much because I don't really talk to players about the coaches.
Right.
And I think I think from everything that you just said, he sounds really great. Like the really interesting coach I want to talk about is Parth.
So Parth was one I was going to hit on as well.
Okay, so this is my perspective on Parth, and this is what I know about Parth.
Okay.
Parth doesn't want to be in the spotlight at all.
No.
Parth is literally like, I'll be on stage because Riot forces me to be on stage. And I'll do this press conference because Riot forces me to do it. But aside from this, please never have me do anything. His first interview
with Travis
was this year, right?
Yeah, I watched it. Yeah,
that was the first interview he's ever done. He's a very smart guy.
Parth, in terms of straight intellect, might be the smartest guy in the scene. Like,
yeah, I mean,
he was an engineer. He was an engineer at Boeing. Like, he's pretty fucking smart. This dude's really smart.
That's what I wanted to be back in the day.
Yeah, if you imagine if Josh was like a successful human being, he could be like Parth.
I don't know about that, dude.
Yeah, that's true.
But I gave up the Boeing life for this.
Yeah. Well, yes, the glory. Yeah.
This is.
Parth has been with TSM with even Loco Doco.
Season 4.
He's been around. He was an analyst, and then he became head coach, and they've done well all throughout. And I know he's smart. I know he's good. The one thing that worries me is it's always like Reggie comes in out of nowhere to save the team. He's the he's like the ultra guy, you know? He's a guy
I don't think it's true, but if someone wanted to be like Parth's more like a babysitter for like a really talented team that like struggles to get together, and then Reggie comes in and fixes all the shit, and then he keeps he maintains the order. But like, how much does he create it in that sense?
I mean, I think Parth is the type of guy who who, like all the other coaches, designs a really, really good foundation. Like he's got the system down, and like it's like, okay, so this is what we're gonna do to become better shot callers. This is how we're gonna shot call. This is how we're gonna control these areas. This is how we're gonna go from early game to mid game. I think he probably does that super well.
So he talked about his 4 kind of areas of coaching. There's like game knowledge, leadership, systems, and one other one that I can't remember. But he rated himself highest in terms of systems. Like, how's your VOD review work? How does your like daily schedule work? How does all that stuff that's kind of not about the game, but everything around it go? And he is really good at that stuff from what he says and what I've heard.
Yes.
So where do you rate that though, compared to someone like a Reaper who supposedly brings a lot of game knowledge and things like that?
The thing about Reaper is he's like the ultimate success story because he's not even like. They had to get Robin, the OG translator, to come with him, and on a team that's like a rowdy bunch of kids that's like, I will never be coached by anyone ever, you know. And
sounds like a freaking movie.
They had
like,
clubs.
How do I reach these kids?
Like they had clubs in the off season, and literally he got kicked instantly before the season even started.
Yeah.
And then they went to Reaper, and it's like he solved them. Like he was the missing piece. So like. All of this stuff is super glorified, obviously. But
I mean, like we said, this whole segment is like terrible all hearsay. It's all ridiculous.
I hate the best coach segment because I don't know. Like, I would have to be individually inside their team houses on a day-by-day basis to be like,
exactly what the contributions are.
This is how good they do. This is how good they do. And it can't even be like a glimpse. Like, can't even be 1 week. I have to be like alternating weeks, and it's just like no one knows.
Here's something we haven't talked about yet. Thomas Slotkin.
Oh, Think Card.
Think Card, the Stink
Part of the
Card.
band.
He's part of the OG band.
He used to be assistant coach for Reaper, and then
he was the head coach of the Challenger team.
Yes, I think he's honestly the type of guy. Like I've worked with Think Card, you know.
Yeah.
I beat up his Marth a lot. That's
no one cares.
I mean, the only thing I will say is I didn't think that me and him had much jungle synergy. Like, we had terrible synergy together when playing because I played on his team.
Well,
but like I don't know. Like
I don't think a player's history matters a ton for the coaching.
It feels like when I I don't think he's the type of guy who's like super innovative in any of like either systems or like game knowledge, all of that. I think more than likely he's like. He just can do the work necessary, and his team comes up with like the innovative ideas,
right? Like,
and he just applies them. He's
if you told me who comes up with Fly Quest comp, it's like Lemon and High, right?
Yes,
and probably Moon too, a fair amount.
Yeah, and then like he works with their ideas and sculpts something, and I feel like he's a very good in terms of like he's really good friends with the team, and he facilitates the ideas in a productive way.
Well, I'm sure like the most important thing is that he, like you said, as a friend of the team, as like the sixth voice, like because you get into arguments all the time, and you need like that guy to come in and try and like split everything out.
It's the facilitator or something like that. Like I used to be. That was like one of the things that I was good at on CLG was I'd be able to like help them through ideas really easily.
Right. So it's the difference between being like a leader and being a facilitator, and ThinkCard probably falls more into that.
Before we just start talking about literally every single coach in the LCS.
Oh, I was just throwing him in because that was the top 5 coaches basically for all the teams.
Okay, so let's list them out. Let's list them out again.
Okay.
All right.
Obviously Reaper, Cop.
No, I don't even want.
I'm not
Cop is the joke.
I was Reaper, Parth, Fly, and Zix, or my 4.
Okay.
Fly, Zix, and do you think Thomas deserves? I don't know.
It's too hard to say. I think like we said,
let me see more of the team.
A lot of this is speculative, and most of these guys have like fairly long histories in some degree, and ThinkCard really doesn't have it. So for me, I'm just gonna, I'll put them off on the side.
So those are the 4.
Right.
In terms of like, I think who's really there's like some Parth and Tony have been around a long time.
Yeah, they have a lot of history.
They've won. Each of them have won like the LCS.
Yeah. They're the longest.
Twice.
They're the longest standing coach staff, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
They're obviously very good, at least in some aspect of what they do.
Right, but this season is the question. We're talking about the mid-season awards, and I don't know if I can give it to Tony.
I think it's they went from 1-5 to 5-5.
So I think one of the most important things you can rate a coach on is improvement and like a team improving. And it's great that they've improved, but I don't know why they started so low. And that's like kind of like a big question mark because they had no roster turnover and the meta wasn't like crazy. It wasn't like, oh, what do we do on red side? I don't know, ban.
Yeah, I think the idea that like COG starts slow, like their players start slow and take a while to adapt, is something that the coach should be actively looking to fix.
Well, I mean, the idea of peaking is something you hear a lot of coaches talk about, and like making sure that you're hitting your stride at the right time. You don't want to like grind so hard in preseason that you're burnt out like week 7.
You want to peak at playoffs, right?
Right.
And maybe that's what COG is doing, but I think that might be more of an excuse.
Right, so I'm a little hesitant to put Tony in the top 3 right now.
Okay, I'm okay to keep him off.
Okay, he's the honorable mention, Tony.
Yeah, I think... Oh, God. Like, the thing about is TSM's improved the most as well.
I think so. I think TS... So,
but is that Reggie, you know?
Yeah, so what's funny...
He's got that fucking red...
He's got the panic button. Yeah. He's got the red... Reggie!
Reggie flies in a parachute. All right, time to save the team.
And the worst thing is, like, their interviews always say this. And I don't know if it's, like, a meme at this point.
Tony's in chat. Oh, no, Tony!
I don't know if it's a meme at this point.
We're going to play board games with Tony.
Yeah, I know. We're going to go play later. He's going to
like, kill us every time.
Yeah. We think we're going to play board games. It's just our execution.
Yeah. We have a great board game out back, guys.
This got really dark, dude. We're actually going over to his place.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Oh, God.
Tony, we love you.
Yeah. Anyway, so what we were saying, TSM's improved a lot, but in the interview, when they had this big turnaround week,
I think it's just a running joke. I swear to God.
You think it's just a running joke?
Like, no, not. But it's like it could be. Like, okay.
So I talked. It shows the wine cellar. I talked to Parth once about Reggie. I DM'd him. I was like, dude, what's up? Because this was playoffs when they turned everything around. They fired Woodbuck. You remember that? This was like the season where they made finals out of nowhere when they looked horrible. And I was like, so how much is Reggie? Because that's what I always hear. Reggie this, Reggie that. And it's basically like he just comes in and he's like such a force that everyone just shuts the fuck up and tries to work together.
Yeah.
So like you have all these ideas like, I think we should play more around bot lane and we should do more of this and we should do more of that. And then Reggie shows up and he's like, you're doing this.
Reggie's similar to how he played, is the decisive
like
leader. Yeah. He's like there is no like democracy in a world of Reggie. It's like
I'm Reggie.
Yeah. That's literally the way you're just like, oh Jesus.
Like, do your work.
Yeah. And so, like, talking with Parth, it wasn't like Reggie came in with crazy game knowledge and he's like, play the game this exact way. He's just like just pure attitude. Like, your attitude is just...
No, and I think that... okay. God.
So where does Parth play into that is the question. Cause,
okay, maybe he's really an enigma. So I want to move to C9 real quick. I think if this was the season that C9 first got reapered, he would be coach of the split for sure. From when he turned, but this isn't. This is the split after. He's still very, very good, but is he the best coach?
I mean, the other person we're talking about here is Fly, and I don't think we've heard enough out of Fly to give it to him. I think
we have the least information about Fly. You only know his history.
I've talked to a couple players on the team, like, oh, what's Fly like? And he's really good. I'm like,
you know that saying, you don't know his story. You don't know his story, right? For Fly.
What?
That's it. You just hear like the second hand, third hand.
Oh yeah. So like, I've seen his history and I've heard like a couple random stories from pros who are like, oh yeah, he's good, blah blah blah. But it's nothing like tangible where it's like, my god, he did this crazy thing. So that's why this category sucks. So let's just label it and move on. Give me Reaper, Parth, Fly for no reason.
All right, cool.
Honorable mention, Tony.
I'm down. Let's
All right, there we go.
We'll go to literally this category sucks.
Yeah,
so let's keep going.
We spent so much time on that too. All right, top 3 tops.
This did not count last week.
It's so easy.
Impact is like up here. Like it's like he's looking down on the mortal men who try to claim that they can play top. And then after last week, it's like, where's Impact? Is he now like all the way down there? Because he played
it's not even just 1 week too. It was the series versus FlyQuest as well, where he got beat up by balls and like they targeted him. They ganked it a lot.
Yeah, he played Camille. His Camille looked garbage. Even after he got back into the game,
he barely won on that Camille game too. It was like so funny.
Yeah, so like that's why I'm saying like it wasn't just like so. Acadian had like a bad week. Impact's been looking a little suspect. He got benched for Ray.
Yeah, that was like, whoa.
That's the whoa. That's like, what the fuck?
Maybe we don't consider Impact, so...
Top 3?
Oh, no. I mean, we can skip Impact. Okay. If you have stuff questions on them, I still think he's top 3.
Oh, he's hands down top 3. I just don't think he's, like you said, the monument that he was before. Right.
I think Hanser comes up
Hanser comes up.
His tank play, whew.
So I'm going to go for my third. I think we're in agreement there. My third one is I'm going to go Someday.
Yeah.
God,
He's so good.
He's so fucking
good.
good. Someday is so good, and it's just like he can't get any help. He just can't get any help. And as soon as he gets any help,
He just takes over the game.
As soon as someone else on his team does anything, he's a monster. Like if Keen is having a decent game, boom, he's a monster. Like if Laud's having like a slightly good game, Chaser, like someday is never the problem.
Yeah.
Never the problem.
let me think of the top players. There's in the top 5. What did we have last week? There's Darshan.
Yeah.
Zig.
No,
No, not
Zig.
Darshan.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Zig, yeah.
Zig monstered
very good,
the last
very
week.
good.
Looper.
Looper.
He monstered the other way, the other direction. He
Yeah.
impacted the last week.
Yeah.
But before last week, I would put Impact third. Now though,
Impact third? You mean
Looper third.
Maybe. I might disagree. I don't know, but
I think
I think
it's
Lorlo throw it out.
Yeah, it's between Someday and Zig.
Right, and I
For number 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I personally give the honorable mention to Zig. I think he is like the ideal player in any game where you have the carries like Arrow and Ryu. Like Zig is perfect for that team, and he's a great player. But I don't think like if you put Someday on that team, they're not just better, you know. And I think you can make that argument for a couple of like any team that's not Dignitas. Whereas like if you put Zig on Dignitas, what happens to that team? That team, like, think about those unbelievable Shen taunts to like win the games. Think about like some of his Fiora play. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah, I actually want to bring up a name that chat's bringing up, Lurlo, because there's a lot of talk. He's just been kind of.
I mean, I mentioned it quickly.
If this is first 3 weeks, sure.
I
Definitely.
still think so. Like, I think the top grouping is actually super close when you start talking about. After you get,
I think Looper is in there.
Yeah, when you get Looper, you get Zig, you get Lorlo, you get like a couple of these guys that are Flame even is in like that kind of middling category.
Yeah.
But I don't think a lot of those guys quite break into the top 3.
Yes, I've been most impressed because a lot of the questions on my mind, at least for Zig, which we have top 4, is that like, can this guy play carries? Like, what happens if he's stuck on carries? What happens? He picked Kled into Fiora, which by the way,
horrible match.
Fiora counterpicks that matchup. He did his job, which was he lived, and then he did good team fights.
Right, so he's like the epitome of the do your job guy. Like you play a GP, you die a little bit early on, but you farm up, and then you're a monster in team fights. You pick him Shen, whatever, down some CS, split pushing, ult into team.
Ulti's the right time.
Yeah, like
whatever.
Like he does exactly what you want, but I'm not sure you could ask too much more of him.
Yeah.
Like that's my only worry.
Oh,
like
but he's the Mr. Fundamental.
Right. He's the guy who, you know, he gets 15 points, 10 rebounds, great center, but like you're not going to build your franchise around him.
Yeah.
Oh, but he's
so good.
He's actually so good right now.
He's so good right now, but like you look at, I just can't put him over Someday. Like I watch Someday, and I'm never like, why'd he do that? That was bad. That was dumb. It's just like, god damn, he's so good.
Yeah.
And then it's just like
Someday for me is the top lane Arrow. But he's got like worse supporting cast.
Right, like yeah. You swap out like everyone else on that team.
Balls is a really interesting person. So I think Balls has been playing. I used to think Balls was better than Zig, but right now he'd be like kind of in the middle of the pack. I think recently he's had not great games. Like FlyQuest in general had like kind of a poor showing.
I thought he looked okay even in their bad games.
Yeah, even in their bad games, he was on carries and he did well. And their team just didn't lack the coordination to just go in and get kills or go in and execute the comp. I can't blame it on just him.
Right. I think his tank play was really good. I think there was a concern with Balls. He needs to play tanks for the team. It's still kind of there, but I think his carry play is not the problem. I think like maybe the team without a tank is the problem.
Yes. And that's true for a lot of teams. Right?
Every team that's true for right now. Jesus.
Yeah, TSM can't play without, and even Dig can't play. Yeah, so
I think Balls is good. I think him and Zig are really close in terms of how they function on their team. Great, like, you know, do your job kind of guys. I just think Zig has been performing better.
I think Zig
in a wider variety of ways.
Yeah, and I think that he has a lot of weird flexibility. Like he could play Kled, he could play Jace, he could play gameplay. I think if anything, this meta is very well suited for him. If he can play the tanks in this meta, all the carries on this meta are very, very good for him.
Right.
And maybe it changes, but I can't predict that.
All right, so let's restructure this again. Top 3.
I'm down for Someday third.
So
I'm down for Someday third.
Okay.
The question is between Hanser and Impact, and I think
this sucks so much because Impact aside from last week and the FlyQuest series was a literally I was thinking this guy best player in North America.
Yeah.
But that happened, and he got so bad that that Reaper had to change him up with Ray at the last series, and you're just like, oh my,
what's going on?
God.
Yeah. And so like ᵐᵉ, I think has looked less consistent and less impressive over a large portion, but he was still good. Whereas
I think ᵐᵉ's tank play is actually Impact's tank play is phenomenal. Like
right, both them. So here's what it is. I think Impact performed at a higher level, but ᵐᵉ was close to him, and then Impact dipped really hard, and ᵐᵉ went up a little bit. And it's weird. I'm really scared about that dip. Like that dip freaked me out. Impact.
I'm kind of scared too. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt because even last season he was like.
Well, last season he actually wasn't
that good. And
because there was literally there's 2v1s and he would get fucked all the time in 2v1s, and then there's like no more 2v1s, and he's
then
like
the playoffs he just starts clapping people.
He had like tons of built up 2v1 frustration. Just starts like
I think he had like 13 solo kills or something.
Absolutely
insane number.
Yeah,
he was legit Gnar 1v9.
It was insane to watch Impact.
Yeah. So,
oh my God.
but that was last season. We're at this season's midpoint. So
I'm down to give him number 2.
I think I have been scared off of his number 1.
But are we basing this off of the 1.5 weeks that he didn't look good?
That's a large chunk of it. 1.5 weeks is
almost a 30-year game.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so it's like, yes, it may not seem like a lot to judge him off 1 week, but we only have 5 weeks to look at.
Right. So you've basically played 10 series. He played 3 series really poorly, or it was exploited almost. So to me, that's 30% of your season.
Sure. And then the thing is, it's like a lot of people are going to look at ᵐᵉ's non-tank play, including me. I'm the person who brought it up on the desk, right? I'm just like, how well can you play carries? I'm just saying everyone's struggling right now to play non-tank top lane. The execution for all the teams isn't there yet.
Yeah, funnily enough, probably P1 has had the best non-tank execution topside, which is pretty funny to think about.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like when you think about it, like his gameplay did well. His Jace obviously super good against ᵐᵉ, but I don't know what that really means if they're like 9th place.
Yeah, it was against a Kennen. Yeah. It was like whatever.
All right. Well, so it looks like we've covered that. We have the honorable mentions, which is like half of the other top laners, because I think compared to some of the other roles we've talked about, the top lane.
A lot of people are actually getting mad that Someday isn't getting first, and it's like.
So here's the thing. I think Someday is like in terms of skill maybe the best, but it's about performance, and it's not like he's failed to perform, but
again, it's tough. It depends on what you guys are looking at, right?
Because,
like what you're rating for.
Right. There's a history of players who looked good on bad teams who then don't do good on good teams. Like Shifter was a player who was always like criminally underrated. Yeah. Look at his CS and his KDA, but he just kind of played like a pussy. Yeah. And then he was on bad teams, so he had the best KDA on the team. And so I'm not saying Someday is in that category, but I don't put like performance still matters to me. I'm not willing to overlook someone's performance.
And the thing is, this is just a mid-season, right? We've only seen 5 weeks.
Right.
And so I'm okay to give it to ᵐᵉ, you know?
Yeah. So
I think ᵐᵉ, Impact, Someday.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
Yeah, I think it's tough again, right? Because like Someday could be the individually best top laner, but it's hard to see that for right now.
Yeah.
You know, just based off the team, so we'll see. Anyways, okay, let's move on to a pretty spicy topic, top 3 mid.
Top 3 mids, I think
Jensen Bjerg.
High.
Honorable mention Froggen.
Honorable mention Froggen. Honorable mention Ryu.
Ooh. Yeah, Ryu's a monster, man.
I think
Ryu's a monster.
Ryu, I think of the top 5 we just mentioned, has the biggest mistakes.
Yes.
But he also has some of the biggest plays where just like out of nowhere, Ryu's just like, oh my fucking god, he just won the game.
People say like clutch factor.
Yeah,
he's got a lot of that. Like the flash.
Who he as well. Sorry, Tony.
Who he's another.
Oh yeah. So the mid lane pool is kind of like the top lane pool. There's a lot of good ones.
He and Ryu are by far the players who, when they make mistakes, make them in the most like marvelous fashion.
Yeah, dude. Some of who he's placed, even the ones that work out, it's like he flashes over a wall, or he starts a game like roams top, gets kind of chunked out, flashes over a wall, then blast cones back over the wall to get back involved in the fight. And you're like, Huhi, what the fuck are you doing?
Like every time you're watching it, it's like watching a train wreck that's like about to happen. You're like not quite sure if he's like a genius or not. Yeah. Not quite sure if it's all going to go to hell.
I want to say though, Huhi's like played super well.
He's playing super
Him
and
well. Stixxay are legit hard carrying that team.
Yeah.
And they did for a large majority of the split.
Yeah, I think Huhi has been performing throughout the entire, like even like week 1 to week 5.
And the thing is, the only thing that puts points away from Huhi is he'll have those games where he's just like he has
that Ori game.
Yeah, he has the game where he played bad. But you're looking at like Bjerg, which is like the pinnacle of mid lane mids, or was for years, right?
Yeah.
He's having bad games where it's like he hit 0 Orioles that game, or he'll have games where it's just like, oh, he just like died and he lost. He's like, it's like he didn't do anything with his lead, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
I think there's like 3 honorable mentions in terms of Froggen, Huhi, and Ryu.
Yeah.
But I think the top 3 have to be Hai, Bjerg, and Jensen for me. Would you put anyone in the honorable mention above the top 3 that I just listed?
There's no way, right? Like
I think
you're looking at like what Keen is next,
High
Obelter.
No, I meant the honorable mention above the top 3.
High brings so much to the team, right? And it's just.
It's weird because we value Hai's ability to take over a game more than we care about his individual prowess, right? Like,
and his individual prowess has been good. Like,
I mean, it's been okay. It's been good, but
it's been passable. But it's the impact that he has on the map.
Absolutely.
So like the -10 CS differential to me is not like you can't just completely overlook that because I think that's why when FlyQuest loses, it's so spectacular. Is because they rely so heavily on the plays. Whereas like Jensen and Bjerg will get leads on their own and make plays, not quite to the level Hai does. And obviously, Hai is the brain behind that team much more than the other two.
Hai's play is very much high risk, high reward. Right? And I know that was like really like cringy and memey, but it's actually true because when those plays don't work out because of that CS differential, it's so much harder for them to get back into the game.
Right, like when Bjerg and Jensen go roam, because they don't roam as much as Hai. When they roam, it's with a pressure advantage. Right, so they don't lose out. When Hai roams, it's whenever the fuck he feels like it. So like if that roam goes bad, it gets turned. Like not only did you just go 0 for 2 on the dive, like
you're 10 CS
you're 10 CS behind, and your mid lane turret's almost dead.
Okay. So
and that fucking game versus the Syndra was just so brutal to watch. Where
Hai just got 20 CS.
Yeah,
and then like they lost the skirmish mid, I think, and then the game was over essentially.
Yeah. So I think. Hai's plays, I put them like they're really, really important. They're like the backbone of FlyQuest. Yeah. But I don't think I can put it over just like
he's not first for me.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
But if Hai's on those lists, he's probably third.
I think it's third.
And I just want to talk a little bit about our honorable mentions. We talked about Ryu. I think he's great at team fighting. He's got clutch factor. Huhi also has that clutch factor. Very consistent player for COG's champion pool. A lot of people were like, "Oh, Hui's champion pool is so small, just Soul and Rise." And it's like, wait,
he's an assassin player, dude.
Yeah, he loves this meta because he can counterpick so much harder with like Echo and stuff like that. Okay, Froggen is playing well in terms of consistency. Him and Jensen are the most consistent players. I think you always be like Froggen's playing really. Huey will have those off games. Froggen's always going to have like a very stable game.
Right. The thing that Froggen lacks that keeps him off the top 3 is I think the explosive play factor.
Yeah, he doesn't have he doesn't have the pure playmaking ability of Hai or like the super clutch like thing. He'll just play out team fights very well.
He's a role player, rather than a carry.
It's hard to say because like when he gets on TF and they get a lead, he'll start porting over the map and making picks. But it feels like if he's not ahead, he struggles to make the play.
Which is why Acadian's so vital for this team. Because
he gets them ahead.
Acadian gets them ahead, and then he can work with Acadian's big lead to like open the map.
I think in a lot of ways he's the opposite player of Hai. Because
he's like the if you're looking at CS in lane, he's like one of the highest. I'm sure.
Yeah, so Froggen's like a beast farm, beast laning phase, plays matchups correctly, plays team fights correctly, but does he get down to the bot side out of nowhere? Does he like hide in the jungle and just like pick the other team's jungler? Does he
like, no, there's a creep wave, sprints over to it.
Well, wolves are up!
I just remember his old laning pattern where he's like, push mid, go raise, push mid, go wolves, push mid, there raise, push mid. He just does that cycle over and over again.
Yeah.
So I think Froggen's super good. I just think I haven't, like, even last year and even this year, like, where's the game where he just pops off? You know, like, where's his Zed game? Where's his whatever game?
And he's gonna. The thing is, he's gonna need that pop off because Echo Fox can't commit to Acadian winning every game.
Right. There's definitely gonna be some games like what happened this week.
Yeah, the best jungler at any given year will always have games where he falls behind.
I mean, like even other regions too. Like
when Dandy was considered to
Cacao,
be like Dandy and Cacao were considered to be the best junglers in the world. They lost like one of 8 games, like one of 7 games, and that's really good. Losing an early game of one of 7 games, shit, you're a monster. But for Echo Fox, it's like literally
it's like death sentence.
Yeah, you lose one of 6 games. You lose one of 7 games, and I want to say he's actually playing really well, but again, he doesn't scrap. he is the honorable mention.
Yeah, I feel like he lacks that big play potential that Bjerg has.
Let's wrap this section up.
I go Bjerg over Jensen.
Ooh.
I go Jensen over Bjerg.
Jensen over Bjerg for me, too.
So I'll go first because I'm outnumbered.
Yeah.
Jensen just like doesn't get off his lane enough for me. And I think this is a huge hold up for how you play around mid lane. Like, think about that like game 2 where TSM actually lost that game against C9, but he like ran topside, got some kills, pushed his mid lane, ran bot side, got some kills, and he was like all over the map. Like, that's just not any, like, Jensen's never like that.
Yes.
And Bjerg has those kind of performances that like literally hard carry your team versus like I have a lead mid, I'm getting this mid, I'm doing this. Like, for how good Jensen is, the fact that C9 has the lowest turret take in the league, or I think they're one of the lowest first turret bloods in the league, it's just horrible.
So the way I see it, and the reason why I really enjoy Jensen's play is I think he's like an upgraded Froggen in terms of playstyle. He likes to sit in his lane, and he likes to get incremental advantages for his team. And he does it super well, and he translates that into big plays in the mid-late game. And that's the thing that he's just so good at that. And that, like you said, like Bjergsen is more likely to make bigger plays early game and create bigger advantages early. So I guess it kind of depends on like where you see.
I mean, I've always been the biggest Jensen like
Fanboy?
No.
Oh, hater.
I'm the type of guy who's always like, look, he's had this problem for more than a year, where instead of him pushing pressure from mid to other lanes, he always draws all the pressure. He was, I think, the most ganked player last season of all the mid laners.
He would die constantly.
But
he was really good at surviving the game.
He's one of the best at absorbing ganks of all the mid. His skill shot dodge rate insane.
Yeah.
Like
people compare it to Faker.
His actual raw mechanical skill is the best in the league.
Yeah, okay, sure.
Or close.
And I agree that he does make good like mid-game plays. Like his Echo, once it finally got ahead and it was out of lane, then sure, it was great.
His Cassiopeia in that one game?
Yeah.
He'll like keep people in the game, you know?
Yeah.
But I do think that is a big problem. He can't go out of lane and do all these things that
he was beating Bjerg in the Zed
by a lot, actually.
Yeah, and it was like
impressive.
all right, now go throw your W at bot turret where your bot lane is and threaten to dive and take the turret. Like, I want to see those kinds of plays out of him, and I've just never seen them consistently. And that's a big problem for me.
I think that's more of a team problem. Because a lot of times, he's really far ahead in the lane. Or he's like 20 CS up or 1 kill up.
Yeah.
But it's like Contracts is like, the best game to describe this, Contracts is 4-0 and they'll get first tower. It's because him and Echo like dive mid lane. Maybe that's Jensen being like, dude, come over here, camp my lane. You're my bitch. Like, you guys sit next to this bush. You guys just wait there until I call your ulti. We're diving this guy.
Yeah.
But I think that's more of a team problem. Like, the fact that the whole team can't convert for first tower, it can't always be blamed on Jensen. The fact that Jensen always has pressure on mid is insane.
Yeah.
Like, I think that, yes, there's a problem he doesn't push out pressure. I 100% agree. I, however, do think he is the best mid laner. Like, in lane, he's the best mid laner right now.
That one's unquestionable.
And
in lane,
in terms of in-game impact, I still think he's super high. He's like really, really high.
Yeah.
And so if that's the only argument against Jensen, I think that it's just like a team.
I will take that weakness. You don't roam, but you will take over the game with your Cassiopeia mid game.
It's a flaw of C9 for sure.
Yeah.
But the thing is, Bjerg also isn't like playing super well.
He's had way worse performances.
You'll remember the Jace game where he roams top and bot, right? But then you realize that that's like one of 4 games that he did that. He didn't do that until he does that every.
He had that nasty Katarina. Nasty as in like I want to vomit watching his Katarina.
Yeah.
Game.
No. But in terms of like putting pressure on the side lanes, he hasn't done it much this season either. He's like 1 for 4, out of every 4 games he does it once.
I think he's a little better than that.
It's like maybe 1 for 3, and that's not that good. You look at High, it's like 1 for 1.
Yeah, High is just like I want to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, it's 2 for 1.
He can't wait to get out.
So like, I would maybe agree with you more if Bjerg was having a better season, but he's really not.
All right, I'm fine with it. I'm still a little more Bjerg focused.
I think it's very close.
Okay, yeah.
I think it's very, very
Bjerg,
close.
Bjerg,
Jensen, High. A lot of honorable mentions after that.
Okay. All right, now we are going to go into one of, I think, the more fun section.
Oh, yeah, let's go. I'm so ready.
Of this episode. So, okay, so, guys.
Pull up the poster on the.
How do we do it? Oh,
you
images?
Just add an image in there. It's in my downloads folder. It's in my Spank Bank materials. Yeah, scroll down.
How many pictures of Josh do you have here?
The Jimmy's poster. You're right above. No, you
pictures of Josh and
they're the same thing. Yeah. No, it's just it's just the Jimmy's poster.
Those were my nudes. Why do you have my nudes?
I have everyone's.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, just drop that guy in there.
All right, we're just gonna slap this right here.
Nice. All right.
Okay.
Perfect production, dude.
Perfect production.
would be jealous.
We are officially on to the fun part of the show.
Yep, we are finally here. We are going to announce the Jimmies. So, like we said earlier in the show, this is kind of our version of the Oscars. We're going to be awarding these very prestigious awards to some of our favorite players. Yeah, I wish we had a real trophy, but we'll just have to do this for now.
Yeah, you can collect your trophies online. If you win a Jimmy tonight, please contact me or Josh, and we will send you the Photoshop file of the Jimmy.
And you can print it out.
Yeah, then
you can take a picture and Photoshop it.
Yeah, I might print them if you're really nice to me. You asked very nicely.
So let's get this started, guys. So the first Jimmy that we're going to award is the Rookie of the Split award, and we have 3 nominees. We have Acadian.
To be fair, there's only 4.
Yeah, there's only 4.
Only 4 or 5 possible contestants.
Yeah, well, it's technically only really 3 because one of them just got into LCS. Stuntopoulos just.
Wait, what are you trying to say? He's not good enough?
Well,
he didn't pop off those 3 games.
You got
whatever.
benched again for a special.
Yeah. Anyways, okay, so we have Acadian, Contracts, and Cody Sun. They're the nominees for Rookie of the Split. And
is this?
Do we debate? Are we
is this a debate? Okay.
I thought we were going to talk about it a little bit.
Yeah, you guys should.
So Rookie of the
drum roll
Split is the award given to the Rookie of the Split.
Holy shit, I just meant between Acadian Contracts and Cody Sun, why we're going to give it to who we think we're going to give it to.
Yeah.
We're not going to give it to Cody Sun because...
It's Cody Sun.
It's Cody Sun. No, we're not going to give it to Cody Sun. His MF has looked good. His Varus has looked better. He's like figuring stuff out.
To be fair, their bot lane is getting better over time, and I think a lot of it is because Ole's picked like laning champions. Karma and Nami over picking Bard and...
Janna and Morgana. Yeah. As soon as Ole plays normal stuff, and as long as Cody's in like a decent matchup, he looks okay. Yeah. I think he's a mid-tier AD carry, but the problem is that he's compared against some of the best junglers in the league.
Yeah. Like Acadian was legitimately in the running for top junglers. What are we gonna do?
Yeah. And then, I mean. I think, I think Contracts is
okay.
He's coming back. Get him some water!
It's not.
You need some throw lozenges?
I think Contracts has done pretty well for his rookie split, but the biggest problem is he's against Acadian.
Yeah, I think a lot of other splits Contracts maybe looks like the winner for this award, but it is going to go to Acadian.
Yep.
Are we going to do the drum roll in the future?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do the drum roll in the future.
We can, whatever.
I don't give a shit. Acadian is the rookie of the mid-season split. He gets the Jimmy.
Yeah, you get to the Jimmy, and then we have the next category, which is Best World Champion, and this is between 3 people. We have Impact, Looper, and Piglet.
All right, so
you can talk to us about the last one since you were part of the team.
Why do you always put that shit on me? Like, do you watch his games? Do you think he's gonna win this award? Why do I need to say that,
dude? But Piglet's coming back to the mid lane now. He's gonna prove himself.
Josh
finally.
Should talk about how good Piglet is. He's your favorite player.
It was so funny because, like. Everyone was so hyped when Piglet first came to Team Liquid, and we were like watching him play solo queue in like every lane, right? Like because when he plays solo queue, he prefers playing mid and jungle, and he's like a sick jungler. He's a sick. His
Lee Sin's nasty.
Like his Lee Sin's nasty, his Zed's nasty, and so people are like, "Holy shit, he's not just like the best AD carry, he's also the best mid and jungler on Team Liquid." And maybe he'll finally be able to prove it. But anyways, that's neither here or there. Best world champion.
Not going to Piglet.
It's not going to Piglet. Looper maybe would even have a chance because Impact played so badly, but Looper also had the week where he played poorly.
Right. I think if Looper was having those kind of Singe games and we were being totally recency biased, I think we would say, oh my god, maybe it is Looper, but it's
Impact
not.
Overall.
Impact has just played, like, even with his bad week and a half, I'm worried, but he's still probably the best of these 3.
Yeah. Okay, so The Jimmy goes to Impact.
For the best world champion.
We're the best world champion
in the NALCS.
In NALCS.
Yeah. Hashtag like a little like fine print.
In NALCS.
Yeah.
All right. Next category, we have the Most Improved Award. And this, by the way, is Most Improved overall. We're not talking just the split, like from the start of the split to
Right.
here.
So
this is like coming into the split kind
like,
of.
Like a little bit of past stuff as well. So this one's kind of a weird category. But
yes.
our nominees, which you guys will understand, it's Moon, Huhi, and Zig. Those are our nominees.
So actually, this is about, like the first one that's going to be close, and I think we have to debate a little bit.
Yeah, this one seems like a toss-up, honestly.
So I think I can eliminate Zig personally because even though he stepped up and he's doing really well, I don't think he's a huge factor in that team winning in terms of like how important he is to the team.
I might even look to disagree a little bit because I remember his last season. I made fun of him for playing badly, and he was like, he was actually. I remember him tweeting me. He was like, "Dude, I heard what you said on that show. Dude. You said I suck, dude. I'm gonna prove you wrong." And like this season, he's doing great. Like so, like I think all three of these are kind of close.
All right, well, we'll revisit that in a second. Huhi for me. Even though he's definitely playing much better than he has in the past, and the community gave him a lot of shit in the past, I always thought he got too much crap. I didn't think he was awful. I thought he was like a mid-tier player who had some consistency issues.
I always thought that he got shit on was because his Aurelion Soul games and his Rise games were so good that in comparison, the rest of his performances look so bad in comparison.
I always describe Hui as the player who he's a great idea of where to be at the right times. But his execution is just all over the place.
And that's why he fails so spectacularly sometimes.
And I think now he's shored up his execution a lot, and now he looks great as a player. But I agree with Mark in saying, I never thought he was that bad.
I always thought he was like
he was like
middle.
People were talking about Hui like he was the worst mid laner in LCS. I was like, wait, what?
Are we like watching the same games? Like he does bad. Like he'll die in like really dumb looking ways. That's still the case. But, I mean, he also makes huge plays, and he was always that kind of way. Yeah. Like, when it was like that super control mage meta where it's like Vlad Azir Rise, like, that wasn't his meta.
No, I just think, like, people just remember him and a lot of players for, like, their very worst performance. Like, like for instance, good example, Meteos Lee.
Oh, yeah, awful.
Oh, like, he played,
worst player ever.
He played Lee awfully, but he did, in fact, he was, like, the best performing jungler at Worlds for NA. Like, or like, number 2. So did Sven play... Sven played well in that league game.
Yeah.
And then after that, like I thought he played pretty well at Worlds outside of that league game.
Yeah.
And the best example for me is the Smithy Sejuani. You know, he misses the Sejuani. Oh
god.
That was like the season where he was playing ridiculously well. Like you were looking at him, he's single-handedly keeping his team in the game almost every single game. And I had to constantly fight people to be like, this guy's a top 3 jungler. In fact, this guy is like a top 2 jungler. Like he's just like
that was like one of those situations where the community and pros perspective on things were so different.
Right, so that's all I want to say before we start looking at Smithy's balls too much is just that the point is sometimes the community tunnels too much on a player's mistakes when they have an already preconceived negative opinion of them. So that was Huhi's case. I actually don't think he was that bad. Moon, on the other hand, was actually
awful.
And to be fair, he was in a god-awful team environment on NRG, so I think he deserves like a little bit of you know,
and his
like
performance on Team Liquid were great either.
He wasn't good at Team Liquid.
He
played one series. But it was pretty bad. And then he was in TLA, and it was like all right, but not great.
People would always talk to me about the Moon in scrims.
The Moon in scrims was a god.
People were just Dark was like, me against Moon in scrims is like it's pretty even. Like he's playing really well. And then, like on stage, he would just not be able to find his transition. You know?
Yeah. So whether it was confidence, team synergy problems, I think Moon actually looked super bad. Whereas like Zig, to bring it back to Zig, I don't think Zig was awful. I thought he just struggled, and all of P1 was struggling. Nothing was working, and then Anora joined, the team started turning around a little bit, and I thought he started to look better. So at least like Zig had that little pick-me-up at the end of last season. Huki I never thought was that bad. Moon I actually thought was just really bad in the LCS.
When I was first asking for Rookie of the Junglers, I was just like, dude, it's between Moon and Acadian. And someone on Twitter was just like, Moon's not a rookie. I'm just like, what are you talking? Oh shit, he played on NRG.
Yeah, that's
I like completely. I
like you don't even think it's the same player. Like you think that's just a different dude.
I like eliminated that point of his history from my mind. That was so bad. So I think it's Moon as well.
Yeah, I think Moon takes this category.
Yeah, I think we can agree. The Jimmy for most improved goes to Moon. Congratulations.
Here's your Jimmy. All right, so next category we have the best anime betrayal of the split. And so for our nominees, we have Meteos versus on P1 Meteos, so Dark Meteos versus FlyQuest, against Sneaky.
Yep.
And then we have Dardoch versus Rainover when Immortals played Team Liquid. Yep. And then we have Wild Turtle going against
basically
just
being on TSM, then Immortals, then TSM. Just being a little flip-flop.
Hey, why is it always... It feels like Immortals is heavily involved here.
Well, because their team blew up, but they're all good players.
You know, I think this one's a pretty easy one.
I mean, I think this one's easy, but for the sake of the story, I actually do really... So, like, Turtle, best anime betrayal, it's not like one of, like, the hyphy shonen, like, oh my god, this guy's a super badass. This is like that stupid fucking weeaboo show where, like, this girl is, like, flip-flopping, like, with two guys. Like, which one do I like more?
Oni-chan!
Yeah.
You like this guy!
Yeah, that's the Turtle anime. He's in that fucked up, stupid, like, insecure anime.
No, it's, the worst thing is the reason why it's not close is because he's playing bad.
Turtle?
Yeah.
Turtle's not playing that bad.
I mean, it's just that he's not like Arrow.
Yeah.
You
can't compare
he's not even
Mortals
the top 3
to
EDs
Arrow.
for you. Like, it's the same thing about Dark.
This is a story. This isn't fucking stats. I'm not. What are you arguing
I'm saying
here?
The story would be a lot better if the stats had something to back up. He replaced like the best AD in the league, one of the best ADs.
Sure. But that's the shonen perspective where they have to be fucking good.
Okay.
This is just about being an indecisive little bitch.
Yeah.
I don't know why I just called Turtle. And he's not. I don't know what that's about. Anyways, we
like
can
a nice
toss
guy.
that. Yeah, I know. I don't know what the fuck that was. That was such a
But
dick
like
move.
my transition was also the Dark Rain and everything. This should be a hype ass. This should be a hype ass.
Yeah, for sure.
But Team Liquid's literally 10th place in the standings, and Immortals is like. Dude, we're like congratulating Immortals for bringing it around. They're like 6th place in the standings right now.
Right.
Like if these were like top 4 teams playing against each other, we'd be like, hell yeah, dude, this is the anime moment.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. But I mean, the Meteos story is actually just so.
I mean,
good.
just visually too.
Just
Everything
good.
about like his hair's not dyed. He's in darker clothes.
He has no
evil. He's got no
glasses.
glasses. Yeah. Oh my god, everything is so perfect. Yeah. It's so perfect.
Do you guys watch Bleach when Aizen turns evil?
Oh yeah.
He loses his glasses. Yeah. That's literally Meteos.
Yeah. Holy shit. All right. So the Dardoch Rainover one, it should be great because they swap teams.
If they was the first and second place teams, this would be like maybe the best.
Yeah.
But
I think it has the potential to be great because Immortals beat them once. If they beat them again and that somehow forces Team Liquid into relegations, then that'd be a great story.
Or they need it for playoffs.
Yeah, something like that, where like Dardoch's trying to get into playoffs and Rainover like drags him down with him. You know, like that would be a great story. Yeah. But as in the midseason, it's not fully developed yet. We'll have to see how the second arc pans out.
Yeah. Hopefully, it's better than Sword Art Online's second arc. So
I'm not there yet.
All right.
Anyway, so
it's
the
awful.
best anime betrayal
it goes definitely to P1 Meteos.
Yeah.
God. That one's like way too good.
It's so good. It's actually just like
all right,
amazing.
Okay, so for our next category, we have biggest disappointment of the split. We have Team Liquid, Dignitas, 80 carries in 2017, and as a runner-up, we have the Rise Rework.
That was my honorable mention. Like Jesus Christ, right?
Come on.
The Rise Rework does like. Why does he have a global teleport people thing? Like, what the fuck is that?
Why does they give him more offensive power? But they still gave him.
Why do I get
more
one
utility.
shot when he has a tier?
Yeah, like I can't believe that Rise is being reworked to 4th. It's because they keep trying to do this thing where Rise is like their machine gun mage.
Yeah.
He's a consistent damage mage source, but they give him too much utility, like with shields and CC and all this shit, mobility. Boom.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
That's your honorable mention. I know you hate that. You're a mid laner. We're over it though.
That.
Everyone kind of hates it. I don't
What?
hate
What
it.
about 80 carries in 2017?
So 80 carries in 2017, everybody hates that.
I just think 80 carries cry a lot.
No, I think they cry way too much. I think they cry way too much. I don't think 80 carries are super underpowered, but it still sucks dick to play when 2 of your best champions in the role aren't even 80 carries. They're mages.
Yeah, so here, okay, so this is the thing, is like, I think for a lot of people who play 80 carries, they're like, I want this like high mechanical, like
auto attack,
auto attack dodge this thing.
It's because their fantasy is playing Vayne every game. They're
Yeah,
just like,
well,
let
not
me
even auto attack, dude. I just want the freaking auto
I'll play
attack.
Callista, I'll play Ezreal, I'll play Kog'Maw, I'll play so many things.
Yeah.
Let me auto attack, and it's like, no, charge your Q up, and you walk in circles, and you just let go. There, you're playing.
Let me show you how 80 carries is played. Oh, I'm dead. Oh, I'm still too close. I'm still too
Yeah.
close. I'm still too.
Dude, don't lock. Hey, Josh, I'm not gonna let you. Yeah.
It's like you can't get anywhere near a team fight if you want to not die. Like it sucks playing AD carry.
Yeah, I mean, like, regardless of if you think AD carries are underpowered too much right now, I don't personally think they're super underpowered.
I think. Oh yeah, I don't think they're super underpowered.
I think crit builds are underpowered, and I think a lot of people just want to play crit builds. They want to right click stuff, and like right now, like Ashe is the only one. And then, like, maybe with some bans, you can start playing, like, Ezreal or other stuff.
And Ezreal's not even really an auto attack.
Yeah,
that
even
guy's like a mid laner, honestly.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like, where's the auto? Like, the AD carry role is defined by auto attacking. Like, most of them in the meta don't even.
I think the support role is all over the place too. Like all the meta supports, like Janna and like we're supposed like Braum, they're just mid lane. They're just mages.
Yeah, I mean,
I think the entire bot lane thing's messed
well, then maybe you should have honorable
up.
mentioned that instead of your fucking Rise rework that no one cares about.
A lot of people care about Rise.
All right. So the other two, of course, are TL and Dig. So
I mean, honestly, I didn't realize it when we first put this down here, but I'm not really disappointed by Dig. I kind of expected it. I thought people
people were hyping him up so much in the preseason.
I thought the overrated in the preseason was, or the rating in the preseason was overrated so much. I saw 1 week of Someday though, and I got caught up in the moment. I got caught up in the action. You think everything's okay, It's like the honeymoon period where you're in a relationship and then like everything's all golden, and then like the next month you're just like, well, shit, all the small things that you thought weren't problems. Wait, they're losing every game.
So the thing about Dig that makes me really disappointed is they brought in like a Korean coaching staff.
Yeah.
And I thought that was going to be really important and really good. And we've seen like the impact that Reaper had on C9. So I was like, okay, there'll be a similar thing here.
Yeah.
And then they got fired.
They got replaced by Cop, who had better success in 2 days.
In 1 day. I think they said that he literally coached for 1 day.
Yeah, he got 24 hours. So like, that's why I'm so disappointed in Dig. Is not because it's like, oh, their players were like, if you really look at this roster.
I think the overall organization, the coaching staff is definitely the biggest disappointment.
Yeah, so, and then when you compare it to TL, like, I think they're worse than Dig in terms of their performance, but I thought their expectations weren't that high. Like, I think a lot of people had TL as like a kind of middle team.
Well, no, we said TL would be second to like 10th, right?
That was after week 1.
Oh, that was Immortals, actually, what you said.
That was Immortals I said that about, too.
Yeah.
Which I still maintain, but...
I think Team Liquid is quite clearly the winner for me. I mean, like, it's just like people like don't expect them to ever win necessarily, right? The split, like there are certain splits where they look better or worse or whatever, but you can generally expect them to, like there's a reason that fourth meme exists is because they're literally like the perfect mid-tier team.
And especially like so Dignitas, they had a lot of variability coming into the season where like who knows where they end up.
Yeah.
TL's roster was like a bunch of like known quantities where it's like this team should be middling.
Yeah.
And then they're just awful.
They're just so bad. They're just so bad. You're like, oh my god, Rainover's gonna come in. He's gonna be a beast for them. Like,
okay,
even
I did have really high expectations for Rainover. I had middling expectations for Golden Glue as well.
Yeah.
I thought he was gonna be a middle of the pack mid laner.
Yeah.
And neither of those are true.
Yeah.
Not even close.
And then like Lurlo is still good, but
Lurlo was the surprise to me. I actually thought he's like playing pretty well on the team.
I think
arguably the most stable component of the team.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. So I think. Do you want to give it to TL?
I'm giving it to TL. That's my vote.
I'll vote TL.
I'll vote TL.
Do we need unanimous voting?
No, we don't.
Biggest disappointment trophy.
Yeah.
Congratulations,
you get the Jimmy
for being the most disappointment.
For the biggest Piglet fan, you can hold it.
Oh Josh. God.
Josh is the biggest Piglet fan?
No. It's definitely.
All right, moving on.
Next category, we have the best poser of the split.
Oh,
and
so for context,
this is like those poses that they do.
Yeah,
I thought this was one of Riot's best things they did this split, the production side. So all the players, they have a special matchup in the break screen, the 3 minutes or 5 minutes of countdown, and they got 2 poses. And the poses on the players are so good.
Okay, so we have like the Afro like point, right? That's
horrible. I think that's definitely an honorable mention.
Yeah,
where he's like, what are they doing over there?
I like that.
The balls is thinking.
I love balls. Balls is this. You just got the thinking thing. I love.
I gotta go with just like.
What's Acadians?
I mean, they're both just like
flexing. No, Acadians are flexing, and then Golden Glue's like
actually has this.
It's muscle, dude.
Yeah, I love Golden Glues.
Yeah, I actually think
Golden Glue
so
takes his
funny.
hands down.
Just because it's just like what? No one cares. Like it's your fucking.
You know, he's like, I'm gonna use these to beat you on the rim.
Yeah, and it's like no, you're
just
not.
takes off his headset, walks over, just beats the shit out of the other mid
They
laner.
probably win more games.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean he'd probably get banned, but then at least they'd like win that one.
Yeah. Jesus. All right, so best poser of the split,
Golden
Golden Glue.
And he also wins on like two fronts because he's also like the best poser pretending to be an NALCS caliber mid laner because he's just atrocious. So.
Holy shit!
Oh god, sorry about that.
And we're going to the next topic.
Next one. So fucking. All right. Best combined bot lane. Oh my god, I'm still reeling from that last one.
So yeah, best combined bot lane. Moving on here.
Holy shit.
Nominees are Cloud9, CLG,
That gets my Jimmy Award for the worst, like
biggest burn.
the biggest
burn. The biggest burn.
Holy
on
shit.
PLT.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
best combined bot lane. So our nominees this time around, we have C9, CLG, and P1.
So
P1 is pretty much there because we love
It's just
Arrow.
because of Arrow's so
Yeah,
good.
like, we
Arrow's
just-
like 1.5 people in that lane.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
I-
it still somehow adds up only to 2.
yeah, so they're there, but I don't feel like they're really synergized in lane.
Yeah.
And even without
Like, Gate's not even that bad or anything.
no,
It's just
Adrian,
like,
Adrian.
Or Adrian, yeah, sorry.
Adrian's not that bad. I just don't think Arrow is like the super aggressive player type, anyways.
Yeah.
So I think like even with like a more like a better teammate potentially, I still don't think they're like lane dominant and like crushing people. I just don't.
I mean, I think he's not getting solo kills, but he's accruing like huge health differentials and CS leads.
Yeah, well, so like they play well. The problem is they still lose some bot lanes where they just die or get pushed out of lane. At the
Oh
wrong
no,
time.
I mean, I think that's ideally how they want to play. You know? And
Oh
I just
yeah.
don't think
Oh yeah.
Adrian's
Their
that
ideal
good.
their ideal way of playing is like you said, getting CS leads and poking people down and making coordinated team plays versus a bot lane like CLGs or TLs where they crush you and they shove you out of lane and they're taking your turrets at 8 minutes. Like that's not even P1's ideal bot lane.
Yeah.
So I think we can knock them out right away. It's between CLG and C9.
I think C9 is just more consistent than CLG. The only reason why this is even remotely close to me is because the last 3 series ᵐᵉᵐᵉ has been playing. I keep stressing he's been playing really well.
I mean, what they took bot lane turret at like 6-7 minutes
Yeah,
2v2.
yeah.
That
Yeah,
And to be fair, C9 never does that, right? Like C9's bot lane is not the type
First
that
turret.
really
Yeah. What is that?
C9 is legit like I think they're statistically the worst team in the league.
They were
yeah.
when I heard that a week ago,
I
and I
think
don't think it improved on
Yeah,
this series.
so,
they
like-
have the longest time for taking the first turret.
Not only just the longest time, they just don't do it. Like it's actually depressing because they're winning so bad. But I think ᵐᵉᵐᵉ's Thresh was super good. ᵐᵉᵐᵉ's like Lulu, and then ᵐᵉᵐᵉ's Soraka, which no one knows how to deal with because they just like run their heads at and then they just die. I think he's played well in the last 3 series for like most of the games, almost all the games.
The problem is that this is for the entire mid part of the
Yes.
split, and for the first half of the split, Afro just like died in the lane a lot, and they lost a lot of bot lanes off those kinds of just like bad mistakes.
Yeah.
So I think just from pure consistency standpoint, I think
C9.
Yeah,
I think
it's
it's
C9 best consistency.
Yeah.
COG though, I'm looking out for in the next coming half.
I could see their bot lane being a bigger factor in winning more games than C9's coming up.
Yeah. All right, so best combined bot lane, we're going to go with C9, although CLG could turn it around
Yeah.
for the second half of the
and
split.
P1 has Arrow.
And they have Arrow.
What
All
are
right.
you laughing at? Dude?
So for the next one, we have the best dressed category. For our honorable mentions, we have players who are forced to wear jerseys, so we have no idea.
Yeah, players like we don't know if they have any style or not. They're all just in uniforms, and
Yeah.
most of the time that you see them outside that, they're just in like their PJs because they just play from home.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like, why are they ever need to dress up in anything but jerseys and basketball shorts?
Our second honorable mention is the dad suits.
So there's like a ton of coaches who look like they're just in their dad's suits.
Yeah, they don't fit properly.
Yeah, they haven't been like fitted at all.
Yeah.
like Fly. Like I said, I love him. I think he's a good coach. He kind of has the dad suit look going on. If Tony's still here, a little bit. I feel like he's got the right ideas.
Yeah.
Just scrap him, dude. Just tell him he looks bad.
No, I think he's like really close to looking good. I think you just like I mean, so let's get into the actual nominations.
Yeah,
I think you got to go
Cop and Reaper.
Cop and Reaper. Like their suits just fit.
Yeah.
Like everyone's thin, you know, and you got to get like a really well fitted suit if you're thin.
Yeah,
and so I think Tony is so close. He just needs to get it. Like I don't know. I'm not an expert either. I'm not a fashion expert.
Oh, he is still here.
Oh no, I don't know. Maybe it's the cut. Like I don't.
It's the cut because like I have a suit and I'm like a skinnier person and like my suit does not fit me, so I kind of get that dad look a little bit.
Yeah,
too.
you get the dad look a little bit. Like mine are like undersized a lot of the time.
Yeah, I mean,
like how I avoid
it's
that.
way better than me. I look like a waiter on stage. So Tony, a very big improvement.
None of us are like throwing shade because we think we know what the fuck we're doing. We're all idiots too. So like none of us. Like,
are you kidding me? Like, I'm not any better. I don't think these two are any better.
Yeah.
But,
I think Cop and Reaper, when you look at them, they look well dressed. I think, oh wait, you know who I totally forgot? The Echo Fox coach. I almost always call him Taquito. I know that's not his name. Tim Kiro. Yeah, he's got the nice orange tie that matches the blue suit. Yeah, I actually think he looks pretty good too.
That's pretty good.
Those are 3 people. We have 2 honorable mentions.
Yeah.
But I still think it's Cop.
Dude, Cop wins for sure.
That dude, he actually put the work into it.
Yeah, he definitely
does. Back when he was still with us on Team Curse and Team Liquid, there was like right before about the time he left, he was like obsessed with like figuring out like fashion stuff, and so he would like constantly be talking with me and Boomy. I don't know if you guys know him.
Yeah.
And they would like go to like the subreddits for like male fashion, like look up like advice for like what watches they should buy, what shirts they should buy, what shoes they should buy, like all of this stuff. And I mean, it worked out in the end, so, you know, good job.
Not only the best Coach Dignitas has ever seen, but also the best dressed.
Best dressed.
Yeah, like
smooth criminals.
Complete package.
Yeah.
What more do you want out of Cop?
All right, so Best Dressed award goes to Cop, I think, unanimously. Our next category is Biggest Surprise. And our nominations here are FlyQuest, Arrow, and Arrow's hair.
Dude, he just looks, he's so goofy. Like he looks like Alpha or like a fucking troll, like those dolls.
I actually thought that was like a joke. Like they messed up, but like he just couldn't get rid of it. And then he's there every week with it. I'm just like, oh.
Yeah, I was like, is this like a holdover for like a haircut he's gonna get? And then he's just got it all the time.
Every time, yeah. It's like what is that? It's not like a man bun. It's like a little.
Every time I see it, I'm taken aback. Every time I see it, I'm like, what are you doing?
Oh, I want to say the Arrow isn't here because everyone talks about the imports. A lot of the imports coming to North America. I've personally seen so many imports fail.
Yeah.
So many imports fail.
Like, just look at, like, literally the perfect analogy is just OQ. Like, OQ was a relatively hyped up 80 carry. Everyone thought he was really good in Korea. Yeah. Maybe a little too aggressive or whatever was, like, the knock on him. And then he can't get anything done in NA.
Yeah.
I actually know a little bit more behind the scenes about what ended up happening. Like,
juicy.
I wonder if I could talk about it. I think it's already been enough time. So the first half of the season, OQ played bad because he used to be on another team in the challenger scene, a TDK.
Oh, I remember this. Some of this stuff came up on Reddit.
And the biggest thing was that he was really like worried about that because like they just didn't pay him or something like that.
Yeah,
he was like super worried about it. So like the first half of the season, like. He was like, he had his like mind split on other stuff. And the second half of the series, and that was the first half of the series that everyone remembers Santorin went like off. Like every game, Santorin would be like hard carrying the team. Yeah. And then like kind of near the second half of the season, Santorin I actually thought fell off. And the person who kind of absorbed his powers was OQ. I thought OQ and Kiwi actually won a majority of their bot lane 2v2s. If you actually go back and watch their second half, they were winning almost all the laning. It was actually ridiculous.
Sure. The thing is, he still didn't come in. And at no point was he a top 80 carry in the league. Like at no point did he start threatening sneaky or double lift.
I think at some point during the half part of the season, and this is coming from a person who like I have no relation with OQ. I don't care.
Yeah.
I thought that he was like maybe like third or fourth actually at one point.
Okay, and regardless, imports are generally a risk.
And like you said, they go wrong for so many reasons. Like he doesn't know he's getting paid correctly because like maybe his bank isn't set up correctly with the United States. Whatever it is, there's so many reasons that can go wrong. Piglet came over, he struggled really hard for a long period of time. GBN came over, he struggled like Impact struggled a little bit in his initial time. He was still a great laner. He was still great in lane Impact, but he didn't take over games. It was the 2v1 meta.
Okay, so back again. Biggest surprise, FlyQuest. Arrow's hair.
I think I just gotta go FlyQuest.
Yeah, I gotta go.
I mean, we didn't talk about it at all, but like,
I think
everyone was so
at the very
dead
beginning,
wrong.
I was just like, they'll sneak into 6th or 5th.
I'm voting for Arrow's hair.
Like they'll sneak into 5th or 6th. It'll be cool, but it's like, they're 1st or 2nd, and now they're 3rd, and we're still talking them up like there's no chance they'll make playoffs. Like essentially, we're talking about FlyQuest, and they're a top caliber North American team.
Right, and I think that's the thing is like, regardless of what you put their ceiling at, I don't think almost anyone coming in thought they would be pushing.
Yeah, I would be like, they'd be pushing this like maybe in the later half of the season. They'd be like potentially 5th or 6th.
Yeah.
But at the very beginning, nah, dude. There's no. They did it.
Yeah. So that's our votes.
Yeah.
And your vote no longer matters.
Arrow's hair. I know I got outnumbered here, but hey, man, you can't.
Okay.
You can't predict that guy.
The Jimmy for biggest surprise goes to
FlyQuest. All right, our next category is worst uniform of the LCS. We have nominations: FlyQuest, Pink TL, and Envy.
I actually don't mind Envy.
Envy's is just kind
Envy's
of
isn't
It's
awful.
just
It's
normal.
just like it's just sponsors. It's
Yeah.
just like a gray color with just monster and like
yeah.
you're a NASCAR.
You're a race car.
Yeah.
Do you remember EG?
Yeah.
They had those big jackets where they would just stick sponsored.
Yeah.
That's kind of what
And
Envy reminds me of.
it's like if you put an Envy jersey and like an Alliance and EG jersey, like I would be like, I don't know the difference. They all just plaster with monster.
Yeah. So I actually, in this situation, I didn't think about it, but like, so COG did the pink jersey last year.
So that's another reason I don't like the TL one.
And I look at the TL one, I'm just like, they messed it up so
They
bad.
did it
like,
so bad.
Like they took an
God.
idea that was like already done in the scene and didn't do it better.
And it didn't even do it the same. It did worse.
Yeah.
I mean-
but honestly, this aside, a FlyQuest Week 1 team jerseys
The week one ones.
was the worst
They
thing
weren't
I've
even
ever
They
seen.
weren't even a team jersey.
Like,
It was
It was like a shirt.
T-shirt.
Yeah.
It was like you went to some like graphic designer and you're like, hey, I need this on this.
And they're like, just draw it in
Yeah,
with
someone like
marker.
sketched it on. To be fair, I think FlyQuest is like working with a really difficult logo.
Yeah.
Like I think the logo's hideous.
Sucks,
So like I don't
yeah.
know how you.
Wait, you don't like the Pokemon logo?
Yeah,
That's what
the
it is?
unknown or whatever
Yeah.
it's called. Yeah. So like I feel like for what they're working with, the FlyQuest jersey like isn't horrendous. Because I don't know how you make that thing look.
I don't mind the FlyQuest jersey. I think the color scheme is also hard. You know, if they got an
Yeah.
easier color scheme, I think it'd be easier.
Yeah, you have, like,
I think
this-
TSM got the luckiest color scheme.
Yeah.
The black and white.
I mean,
Black,
there's-
white, and gray.
There's so many
It's
good
a little
ones. Like
lazy,
blue and
honestly.
white is like easy. Like there's so many easy ones, and FlyQuest has like white and like off yellow, like
Yeah,
like
like
mustard.
gold.
Like, is that Grey Poupon mustard? Like what is that?
And so I actually hate pink TL, but that's.
Pink
Yeah,
TL.
I know. I'm pink TL as my vote as well.
Oh,
I think
okay.
Pink TL.
Like I said, I think FlyQuest for what they have to work with.
Yeah, yeah,
isn't-
and the amount of effort put in, right? Like it was so clear to me that the Week 1 jerseys were just like, yeah, we need to just have a logo.
yeah,
right?
But we're talking
But-
about like after the
But
week
Pink
one.
TL was like, we're gonna carefully craft this
Yeah,
colored
it was
scheme.
it was planned, dude.
Yeah.
It was so.
Yeah, so I think Pink TL.
That said,
gets
they
my
had some
vote.
pretty funny other stuff around the Pink TL thing with like the Valentine's Day, like the I Lorlo you or whatever.
Yeah.
like, can you be my
Yeah,
Valentine? Those
yeah.
were
Oh,
cute.
those are-
I have
those
some
are
in
good.
my
Oh
bedroom.
God.
Oh, of course.
I didn't have anyone to give them to.
Yeah. So you just think about Lorlo.
Yeah.
Put them on your ceiling. Look at them as you.
Moving
go
on
bed.
to best uniforms. Worst
Yeah.
uniform, Jimmy going to the Pink TL.
Yeah. And yeah, so we'll move on to best uniforms. We got P1, we got C9, we got TSM, and actually, even though honorable mention goes to
I
CLG,
feel like
I'm gonna put them up.
I
I'm
feel
gonna
like
put them up.
CLG
We're nominating 4?
I guess so,
No, I
because
mean,
I love CLG
I
America's
actually like
jerseys.
CLG.
No, but it's not. They haven't worn the America's jersey this split. You can't
Yeah.
put something up for something that didn't happen this split.
All right, so
Fine,
I think
alright.
the best jersey ever was their MSI
Yeah.
American jersey.
those were
That
so
was
American
sick.
CLG
so
jerseys.
smart.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like everything about it too. Like the jersey's pretty good, but then they started winning,
Yeah.
and then they started dabbing, and you're
Yeah.
just like, "Holy shit, let's go! This is like the coolest team ever."
Yeah, I thought that was the moment where it was just like, the COG just got it all.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
got
Yeah.
the wins, they got the uniform. Oh,
Yeah.
they're amazing.
Personality. It was
Yeah.
like, oh, this is the American team I wanted to cheer
Yeah,
for.
I want us to be like the dumbasses somewhere else in the world,
Yeah.
like ruining America's
like
reputation.
basically like the mango.
Yeah, like that was like as close to like like yeah, for
Yeah.
sure, for sure.
Um,
So, but that didn't happen this year, so it's, it doesn't count.
All
right,
I still
so-
think their base jersey is okay.
Yeah,
but
their base jersey is okay.
I honestly, I like C9s a lot. I don't know. It might just be the color scheme. I just like blue and white
I
a lot.
actually don't like the white and the light blue that much.
So I think my problem with it is like the blue and white color scheme is just so explored in the space. Like TL is the same basically.
Yeah.
CLG is like similar.
How did TL come out with pink TL, dude?
I actually really like the P1 jerseys.
I like the P1 jerseys a lot. It's different. It's fresh.
Yeah.
It's like black and orange, and they pull it off well. I
think a P1 jersey is very hit or miss. You know, I think stylistically, some people might not like it.
I can see it being like more like because TSM is like the exact opposite where it's like it's solid.
Everyone will like TSM. They got the color scheme is like the
TSM has the least offensive possible jersey ever.
It's just like dark colors with like white highlights.
Like you could probably wear a TSM jersey out in public and like
you'll probably get yelled at for being a TSM fan.
But otherwise, like if they don't know about esports, it's just another black T-shirt, right?
P1 looks like Echo Fox. No, P1's jersey is way better.
I personally am like kind of indifferent on some of them. I think P1's
Echo Fox is blue. It's not black. Like who even just said Echo Fox is close?
I'm trying to think what the Echo Fox.
Echo Fox is like the orange highlights, and it's like blue. It's all right, but the black on it, especially maybe it's just like partly the Dark Meteos thing being fresh in my head. But every time I think of that jersey, I just think of like Evil Meteos. Yeah, and I'm like, this looks so good.
With Immortals, you like their jerseys?
Actually, I do like Immortals jerseys.
I like the black and green,
and I like their logo a lot.
Yeah, their logo is smart.
Yeah, but it's I wouldn't want to wear an Immortals jersey.
I mean, they're
that's different.
Like I think in terms of stuff I would wear, C9's hoodies are like what I think about. So maybe not necessarily their uniform per se. But I think their hoodies are
if we're including overall swag, I think like TSM over the years, TSM over the years has always like they always had like the shoe game. They've had like
Lena dresses the whole team. She's really clean about it.
Special honorable mention to Lena, just like making sure that they look good all the time.
Yeah, not everyone has a personal wardrobe consultant like Lena is for TSM.
But
you know what? We can give it to P1. I'm okay with it.
I don't care. This award's whatever.
Okay, so Jimmy goes to whoever.
P1.
P1. Next award, we have the ELO Hell Award, and this is players who are stuck in ELO Hell. This is not real ELO Hell, not like the D2 balls meme. We're talking here. The nominations are Someday, Lyra, and everyone's favorite Dardoch.
Oh boy!
Who's held back by their team the most? Also known as the 1v9.
Yeah, the 1v9 award. ELO Hell.
Okay, let's talk a little bit. A lot of people wonder why Lyra's on these matches. Lyra's early game is actually really good.
Right.
He consistently gets leads early, and the only reason Envy wins games is if he's popping off. The only win condition they have is if Lyra goes off. And even then, they can't win.
So, like, the question that I asked about Lyra, because this is, like, the ELO Hell Award, is, like, if you put him on a good team, I think he becomes way better looking, because he is he's not, like, the aggressive jungler who's, like, going in, getting leads, and his team can't follow up. He's the type of guy who, like, if his teammates are getting leads on their own, he supplements that very well, I think. I think he is, like, one of the only control-style junglers who's doing well right now. Mm-hmm. And I think if you put him on a team like C9 or a TSM or like one of those more standard strong teams, I think Lyra looks really good. Mm-hmm. So that's why I think...
And a lot of people complain about Lyra's like late game. Dude, Envy's late game is horrendous.
Yeah, what late game are you talking about? I think that they like literally all just get up and leave their keyboards 25 minutes in.
They don't have... Like, their only way
We've gotten our lead, guys.
Yeah.
See you next time.
You guys want to go get to the catering? I think catering's out.
Chipotle's pretty close.
Oh god. Okay. So going to Someday, there's no mention about this. There's no need to mention.
Someday is just like
every time you watch him play, you're like, wow.
Yeah.
What a Shentai. Yeah. What I'm watching his Maokai games. Wow. It's like
what great frontlining. Like, oh, there's this Fiora. Oh, amazing.
Yeah, I think. A lot of times I watch him play, I think maybe there's a lot of situations where he's not as aggressive as his team needs him to be.
Yeah.
So if he's split pushing, he can split push even harder. He's not like walking the line of like almost getting caught and dying. But I think that's like that would work on any other team.
Yeah.
Any other team, if he's like playing like right up to the line, he's not riding on it. But like his team needs him to be like over the line to win.
Yeah, they need him to be like the best top laner, not just like in NA, they need the best top laner like in the world ever. Like he needs to be like just insane. Like they have Flame Season 2. Like they need like the most insane carry performance.
It's like you don't have 100 CS lead, we can't win.
Yeah.
They can't even win with that sometimes.
yeah. Jeez.
Oh my
But
god.
And Dardoch, I'm just saying his team. The first couple of weeks, it literally looked like a
looks
1v9.
like-
Yeah, it was like, all right, well, I'm gonna make some plays.
Dardoch's making
and-
as many plays as possible.
Like it should say something when like Hobelter had the worst stat. He didn't have top 10 stats. He had the 11th place mid laner stats.
Yeah, he was behind Alex Deesh, who subbed in for one game.
It was just like, oh my god.
Yeah, and to be fair though, for the Dardoch one, he has had, it's been working out better.
Yeah, I think I would give this to him if his team still hard sucked.
Yeah.
Right, but like Flame has like kind of found his
Yeah,
role in the
Hobelter's
team.
not feeding, and
Yeah.
the bot lane isn't picking like really bad support, so their laning is okay.
Yeah, and also, Dardoch has made bigger mistakes than the other two. Well, actually, I don't know. I don't watch NV games, so I can't say much. I can't.
I mean-
Every time NV comes on, I'm like, all right, what's the,
Oh, you
what's
mean
the other?
Immortals?
No, he's watched Dardoch mess
Oh
up.
yeah,
He
I
hasn't
watched
seen-
Dardoch mess up sometimes, but in terms of NV games, like I just generally pass on them.
That's true.
I mean, I think Lyra doesn't make huge mistakes. I think you can just say sometimes he doesn't make a big enough of an impact.
Yeah,
where
yeah,
he's just
yeah.
like, I got a 10, 20 CS lead in the jungle, 30 CS lead.
But like someday, dude, that guy just seems like infallible. Really, like it's like so hard to.
I think you have to give it to impact.
think-
He's
Alright,
someday, yeah.
yeah.
He's
I
so
was-
good.
Yeah, no, he's really good, and I think that as both Dignitas and Immortals are kind of maybe hitting their stride, a little bit of a mid-season like rise, especially Immortals, we might start to see both of these teams winning a lot more because they have great players.
What about Reignover? I mean, the first series you showed me where he doesn't jump in and kill himself on any champion that's not Graves, and like maybe he'll be in
God.
honorable mention.
Yeah.
What about Piglet, dude? Why you gotta bring in Reignover, dude?
Okay.
Piglet's
All right,
wild
we're
worlds.
done with this. Elo award goes to Someday. Whee.
Yay.
All right, and now this is our final category, and I think this one's interesting. Just overall MVP of the split so far. So we have actually 5 nominations for this one. We have Haunter, Bjergsen, Jensen, High, and Arrow.
Is this most valuable player in the entire league or most valuable player to their team?
In the entire league.
In the entire league.
Like, who's the most important player in the league,
yeah.
basically?
Who? Yeah.
Oh.
Who's the Brady of League of Legends NALCS?
Yeah.
Oh my god. So like honestly,
That's why when you put Haunter on this nomination, I didn't agree. Because I feel like there's a lot of tops who could do Haunter's job.
Yeah.
Not to say Haunter's bad. I think Haunter's really,
and
really good.
The worst thing is if it's talking about the most valuable player in the league, it means without this player, this team would literally crumble to the ground.
I think that's the case for all these
Close.
players.
No, I don't think so. I think it's true for some of these teams. They would crumble maybe a couple ranks. You know.
I think it is if you took not just like you swapped them out for like the next best, but like if you put in like a lower tier,
Yeah.
like that kind of thing. Like how often is winning off their back? How well do they do relative to their peers? There's a couple factors for me.
I would actually put Acadian over Haunter in this.
Yeah, I think you could argue that.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I think if you put like Zig in for Haunter,
TSM's still okay.
TSM
TSM's
is
still good.
TSM's probably like top 3 still.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. I think
God,
If you take Bjerg out and you put in Froggen, do you think that team wins many games?
No.
They don't get all around them.
I think what happens is like early TSM. You guys remember some of those early splits with
Yeah,
Bjergsen where
season
they,
4,
like
yeah.
Bjergsen would do really well, but like they just like could not do anything. They would sit there and they would just slowly bleed out games because they didn't know what to do
okay.
mid game.
So then High just wins this like guaranteed. Then is what you're saying. Because if I replace High with what's the middle of the pack here thing? So I have to replace High with.
Well, so the thing about High
wait,
is like
wait.
I don't think they necessarily need to play that game. Like we've seen them win more control focused games before, plenty of times. They beat Cloud9 in the control game. They beat I think it was TSM.
Yeah.
Or was it who else did they lose to this weekend? I forget. Anyways, they've won some control style games. Like if you just put in like a beast, like if you put Bjerg on that team,
So,
do you really think they're that
Bjerg? Oh, you instead of dropping down tiers, you put in
Oh
all
yeah,
higher
yeah,
tier?
yeah.
What the
Yeah,
hell?
okay, bad example.
Okay, put like
Ryu.
Yeah.
Ryu.
Yes, I think they lose a lot more
Yeah,
games.
they win a lot.
I
lose a
think
lot
they
more.
lose a hell of a lot more games. What?
In High's case, it's
But-
such a unique.
Because he's also so responsible for their losses. More than
Yeah.
anyone else on this list, when they lose, it's off the back of High's plays not working.
Yeah, but that's their whole team is built around it. It's like we're talking old TSM where literally Bjergsen was 1v9.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I think you have to look at his performance relative to his peers is important too. You can't just swap him out. His performance relative to his peers, he's probably one of the worst on this list.
Man, this is actually so hard.
Yes, especially if we're going by rankings, like personal rankings. We put High was third, actually.
Yeah,
High was third, but Arrow was like clear number one. Bjergsen and Jensen really close number one.
Let's talk a little bit about Arrow. Where is P1 without Arrow?
It's weird. It's hard to talk about most valuable player in this case because like AD carries in general aren't super important in the current meta, right? Like they're the person who helps support the cast. Right?
Generally, that's true, but there have been some Jhin and Varus games where like
that one Jhin game where you literally almost took
hit
out
everything.
Was it Keen or something?
It was the
Azir.
It was the Dig series, where they had Meteos and like the team just did nothing, but like closely lose team fights because Arrow was such a god,
such a monster.
And that's how like that was a really notable case, but most games are like that where it's like, oh, Arrow's just hitting everything in this team fight again.
Yeah, I think,
and they have close team fights, and they've had a lot of close series. Like there's that one series where they needed that flash Ryu ultimate to turn things around. Like there's been a number of really close series where if you don't have the best hands down AD carry in the league, they might start losing more and more series pretty quickly.
I don't think they're even top 5 without Arrow. Like
they're like probably number 4, number 3 right now, and if you take Arrow, I think they drop to like 6 to 7. If you put in Cody, if you put in whoever.
You put in Ryu for High, where does FlyQuest drop to?
So like I was saying, it's hard to say because I think like they don't lose first.
They're built around High.
Right, they're built around High, but look at their losses. Like they lost to Dig. Do you think they lose to Dig with Ryu? I don't think they do.
Yeah.
Like they lost to Dignitas because of their playstyle, which is built around High. Right?
Yes.
So that's why I'm hesitant to give High the MVP, just because as great as he is, as he is the pillar, backbone, everything of FlyQuest, he is also their weaknesses.
Yeah.
He's their weaknesses embodied.
Okay, so
he's definitely a double-edged sword.
We haven't really talked about Jensen. Do we really need to talk about him? I think he's the best mid laner in the league.
We gave him number 1, right?
Yeah, but I think if you replace him with any other person, if you replace him with the other 2 people on the list,
I still don't think C9 goes down that far.
Yeah, C9, his team is so good.
The whole team is so solid that like.
But I don't think you hold that against him.
Yeah,
no, absolutely not. It's just the nature of the MVP award.
Yeah. Right.
It's harder for Jensen to shine in that way because the rest of the team
weird
is
because
so
it's
good.
like usually the MVP is also the best at his position.
Yeah.
But this is probably not going to happen.
Oh my god, dude! I'm starting. At first, I was kind of leaning towards just Jensen on the back,
I was leaning towards.
Now I'm actually leaning towards Arrow.
I am too.
I think I'm leaning towards Arrow the most.
Now that I think about it, it's like I wanted to give this to a mid laner, and we have 3 mid laners on the board.
And it's funny because I don't even think like you were saying AD carries are that good right now.
Yeah. Mid lane and jungle are the 2 best roles, both in competitive and in ranked in solo queue. They're the most influential, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And even with all of that being said, this guy is transcending his role. This
Arrow
guy
is so crazy.
He's telling us, I'm better than Riot Games balanced team.
Yeah.
By myself, let me prove to you just how stupid I can be. Like, I can... Oh, my...
Yeah, it's actually so insane to me how impactful... Like, even when we were comparing the AD carry roles, like, Arrow is so much better than the second place AD carry that, like, you put anyone else in his... Like, you put him on any team, that team instantly becomes better. You take him off any team, that team gets instantly, like, way worse. It's crazy.
It's like, if we put Arrow onto TSM... I think they can compete internationally.
Crazy. So one of the things I'll say that makes it more in Arrow's favor, not through his own doing, is that the AD carry pool in NA is not good.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, the bot lane pool.
So like, if you take a 5th place mid laner and compare it to a 5th place AD carry, most of the 5th place AD carries will look way worse.
Yeah.
So I think it's a little unfair to just say take him out and put in a worse player because Arrow has to deal with the fact that like after Smoothie and Stixxay, who is even competent enough to fill his shoes?
You keep getting Smoothie and Sneaky mixed up.
Whatever. Tomato, potato, C9 people.
Like, I don't know. I think...
So that's one thing I'll say is like Arrow, while I do think he's clearly one of like the best in his position, I think his position is also just generally weaker. So subbing him out for someone worse... It's an argument that favors him.
The thing is, did Arrow play poorly on KT when the meta wasn't skill shot Jhin Varus? No, he was still one of the best ADs in the league.
Yeah,
I think he's maybe not even improved, but like he hasn't lost his skill transitioning to North America.
No, not
even
at all.
with the support that he hasn't fully synergized with.
Yeah.
I think that, I mean, obviously I was joking when I said TSM can be internationally with him. I think that there's a chance that he shores up a lot of their weaknesses for sure.
Yeah.
Right.
And honestly, I'm willing to give it to him. I think Arrow is actually, if you guys are telling me Arrow is not that good, please watch his games. Like, I don't know what else to say. If you follow professional players, every time they tweet about Arrow, read what they tweet. like it's actually insane.
If you only watch his laning phases, I could see where you're like, this dude's overhyped.
Yeah,
but if you watch anything outside laning phase, he is never caught out in a team fight, still able to put out insane damage, doesn't play too safe, but is constantly like, he's just a monster. He's an absolute monster. Yeah. So,
where Ryu is more inconsistent on the team, like, if you look at P1, we're like rating their players. Like, Inori's not even top 5. We have Zig is like barely scratching at 4 on the last week. We have their mid laner Ryu not even in the top 5. He's like 5 or 6 or 7 or 5. It's like 5 or 6. And then their support we didn't have in the top 3. So who is keeping them 3rd, 4th?
Yeah. I mean, you have to put teamwork as an important thing too, because FlyQuest is a similar story.
They're putting them, but he's putting them in this position, losing a lot of their lanes. And in a meta where losing lane means you lose the game a lot of times.
Oh God, is it really Arrow?
Is it really Arrow?
I don't know.
It's so hard.
It feels bad to say just because of the AD carry situation.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mind. I think AD carries just complain a lot. No offense to any AD carry players.
But offense is given.
Yeah, but like, I think that the AD carry role sucks right now. But I also think that if it sucks so much and Arrow's able to look this good, then what does that really say about his ability to play the game?
All right.
And not to mention, we also talked about he has, and this shouldn't matter in our decision, but he has a large growth potential because Adrian could get a lot better.
Yeah.
So, and also, they might actually start doing balance changes around making AD carries stronger.
Yeah. And then,
so that's when you start saying, is that actually a buff? Because maybe he's
just really good on these Jin Varus. But
that's true.
I question
for the meta
that.
thus far, right?
Yeah, I think for mid-season, I think you could make the argument that he has been the most important player in the league, most valuable player.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, for sure, a lot. And like he's like, people will relate him to a someday, but he's so good for his team and he's winning games.
Yeah.
And he has a better surrounding cast, of course. But
if like Dignitas were a top 4 team off the back of someday, that's basically the Arrow
yeah,
argument.
we would give it to him. Or we would consider him.
Right, but that's the argument we're making for Arrow here, basically. We're like, who knows where P1 is? And his supporting cast is obviously better than Dignitas's.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting thing, like, would a team trade your current person for one of these people, right? And I think in Arrow's case, it's 100% of the time. And I think it's a toss-up between Bjerg, Jensen, and High.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people wouldn't trade for High just because they're like, I don't know if I want that. It's scary.
I think any of the bottom teams would trade for High in it.
Oh, yeah.
I think High is uniquely one of the best players like NA has ever produced.
Yes.
But he comes with some stipulations.
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely. I mean,
and so that's why
I'd probably give it to High second. Honestly, I think he's almost
still go with Jensen currently.
Oh,
I'm really torn between those two. For my runner-up, my problem with High is just like, while he is so important to that team's victories, it's also usually his fault in the losses. Like, he's getting destroyed by Syndra in this pick, and now the Shaco can't do anything.
Here's a fun pick: if mid lane for the last team in the league, which we put as Team Liquid,
had one of these players,
had any of these 3 players, 100%. which do you choose?
High. You'd get High. 100%.
I would get High.
I think High is one of the crazy player because he amps up low talent so much compared to other people, right? Like you put like
Arrow on TL may not necessarily. I'm just saying.
Hey, maybe High's the best pick for taking a last place team and making them 4th.
Yeah.
But is he the best place for getting a first place team? Is he the best pick for that?
Yeah. First place team to international.
I just wanted to let you know, like, just some thoughts I had about
I mean, there's
in terms of runner-up.
I think you can say High might be the most impactful player, but is he the most valuable? I don't know.
I think in terms of impact, the guy is incredible. Most valuable, I'll give it to Arrow.
Yeah.
I'm down.
Okay.
I love Arrow.
We're doing it. MVP of this split thus far.
The Jimmy goes to
Arrow.
Woo!
That's crazy, actually. That is so nuts to me when I think back about it, because, like, Oh my god.
There's no way I would have given this award to this guy at the very start of the split. He wouldn't have even been like my top 10 player.
I mean, that's why he was on the biggest surprise list.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
sure.
And his hair.
Yeah,
All right, well, that does it for most of our Jimmies. And for the last thing we want to talk about is actually, now that we're at this midway point, we want to talk about where people are going to end up.
Yeah. Oh, and so we're going to end on a prediction segment.
Yeah.
We're going to predict the teams we expect to be in playoffs. So and we don't necessarily have to do an order, right? Just the top 2 and then the 4 after.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is we're going to say who we think will get the first round buys and then who will be the 4 other teams.
Okay. And possible dark horses for the top 4.
And the second half might be a lot more complicated than the first half. But maybe even the first half might be a little bit difficult.
I think the first half is still difficult, but I think
TSM goes for sure.
I think TSM for sure, and I think even C9 for sure. I have enough faith in their infrastructure and like the players and like all that.
Another TSM C9 finals, boys.
I have enough faith in everything else. I think that despite how bad they look this split or this week.
Wait. I mean, I don't mind your faith for C9.
Okay.
I mind. What about your faith for FlyQuest?
I think that they'll drop some series they shouldn't drop more than
I think they're more exploitable than the other two.
I wouldn't even say like it's exploitable. Like, oh, I see what you're doing and I'm going to counter it. It's more like they just come off the rails sometimes.
I think there's a higher chance their style loses to lower ranked teams, but their chance also has the highest chance to upset one of the higher ranked teams of all the other teams. Yeah. And so that's the only reason I agree that they will not in top 2 because they will drop these random series.
Right, like so they'll play, against the top teams and look great, but then they, there's more bottom teams that they have to play against, and they'll drop a series there that the other teams probably won't drop. Like the Dignitas one.
I also want to mention like TSM too. Like sometimes TSM just kind of drops the ball too, but I think because of their current trajectory,
they're such good players. Like they're so rock solid, and they will never just like. You just have to be. They're like a bar you have to hit.
I mean,
they're like
a DPS check. Like if your players just aren't like quite like at a certain quality level, you just never win against.
Yeah, that's exactly the MV series.
You'll win like one game, but in a whole series, I don't.
Yeah, you might eke out a lead because you did something clever in the early game, but they'll just outvalue you.
All right, so we say TSM C9 1-2.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
I'm
right.
going P1 FlyQuest in my next 2.
I think P1 FlyQuest are pretty much locked in.
I think that one's.
I will throw CLG in there. They're looking good. They're coming up.
Their wins still aren't super convincing, but
they're on the upwards trajectory.
No, but the thing is, I agree. They're on the upwards trajectory with Immortals.
Yeah.
I just have a lot of faith in their team, and obviously, I'm very biased when it comes to CLG. However, I think that we talked about coaching. We don't know exactly what they do. I've worked with Tony before. I think they can do it. They went 1-4 to 5-5, and the biggest thing for me is that they're finding consistency in their X factors. Before, it'd be like, okay, well, they'd win mid lane, but like their top lane fed. They win mid lane, but their support fed. Their 6-8 would go off, but like Xmithy fed, stuff like that. Now, I think Aframu's playing a lot better, and Darshan is like kind of evening out. And so with that in mind, it's really just up to Xmithy to play better. And if Xmithy stays at the current level, they can still squeak in top 6.
I think I'm there with you. I think CLG makes it in. I think they too much of a track record of managing to succeed.
Yeah, I think so, but I'm a little hesitant to put them over. I think Dignitas, who is like
Dignitas.
I think they're my dark horse team. Yeah, I think that they've.
We're not even in the top 4, the top 6.
Well, I'm saying in the FlyQuest P1.
Yeah, FlyQuest P1 3 and 4.
Yeah, but then you need the last 2 playoffs.
And I think in like my 6th place slot, I think it's a toss up between CLG and.
Wait, then who's your 5th place team? What about Echo Fox? What about Immortals?
I think. Yeah, so I don't know. I just wanted to throw Dignitas' name because we haven't even mentioned them.
But I think we're like trying to do like these playoff teams, and you're just like, but let me talk to you about someday.
Here.
Have you heard the Lord and Savior?
The reason why I bring this up is because we talk about CLG. They looked spectacular. They did not look very good in the beginning of the split, and we're saying that they're going on an upwards trajectory. I think the same thing can be said about Dignitas.
Dignitas beat FlyQuest, who suicided, and then TL this week.
Yeah, the thing is, I'm just not completely sold on Cop yet. Like,
I don't even care about Cop. That team had so many.
Oh, okay, man. Just care about the best dressed, best performing coach in the league.
No, I'm just saying that
like
sure they got some wins last week, but it was off the back of a terrible FlyQuest series and TL, who looks like arguably the worst team in the league.
Right. I'm not fully convinced they'll do it. For upwards trajectory, that I think of like Immortals.
I think Immortals.
Yeah, I think Immortals. Of CLG.
I think
they've got weeks of like, oh, they were shit, and they're looking better every week. Yeah. You know, and where Dignitas is like, they only have 1 week where you're just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I would say I would even take Echo Fox over Dignitas as well. I know they're like really hit or miss, but they just need to hit enough times in the next 5 weeks to make the playoffs. Because that's what we're talking about here, just the sixth place team.
Yeah, I think it's really tough when you're talking about who might eke into the playoffs.
For me, it'd be a toss-up between Echo Fox and the Mortals.
I think that's the toss-up for my last place team, yeah. Because I think Immortals will be more... I mean, both those teams are pretty inconsistent because they're both so jungler-reliant, and I think Immortals, the rest of the team, has more playmaking potential, but I think Looper and Froggen are more solid. But so it's just like a really different, like two really different teams.
I just think that Echo Fox has like a clear weakness with Keith and stuff. I don't know. I just like
that's very sketch.
I think that's like so scary. Like I feel like some of the other teams that we're talking about in this range don't have such clear weaknesses in their team.
I'm not even so much worried about Keith. Like I think Keith and Cody could be like almost interchangeable, especially in terms of like an average.
Oh man, I don't know. I think
Maybe.
Cody is.
Maybe Cody.
Cody has a higher average.
Yeah, Cody does have the higher average. However, the biggest thing for me is just that like their mid game is really bad, and like Immortals, I feel like they're
like
Echo Fox depends on Acadians so much that I'm worried. You know, where Immortals they don't have to depend. Like I've seen
Hobeltel will make stuff happen.
Yeah, or like Ole will make stuff happen, or like. Whatchamacallit, Cody's son will even make stuff happen. Flame will make stuff happen.
Flame will make stuff happen.
So like it'll be like they'll all maybe do a small amount with Darlight taking the brute force.
Yeah.
Whereas on Echo Fox, if Acadian doesn't get ahead, I
don't know what that team does.
Worried.
I really don't know what that team does if Acadian doesn't. And here's the thing: is like it's hard for me to just rely on a rookie and hope that he carries the rest of his team to play making the early game, right? Like,
oh man, this is the Thorin argument.
This is 100% the narrative argument, but like I do think that it's just like if you're a betting person, you gotta wonder.
Oh, no, honestly, I don't think about that stuff at all.
I don't think about rookie stuff at all.
Yeah, I think that's just like a really forced narrative. Honestly, that like the thing is. I would maybe consider that, but they're in like the grand finals. But by the time they've gotten to like the real big venue, the grand final venue, it doesn't matter anymore.
Well, I mean, it still matters a little bit because
we're just talking about who gets into the playoffs.
Yeah. So for this point, I would just say I would finish out with CLG taking 5 behind FlyQuest and P1 at 3-4, and then 6 for me. I'm gonna go Echo Fox over Immortals. Who are you gonna go?
I go Immortals over Echo Fox personally.
Why do you like Echo Fox?
They still have the best early game in the league, basically, even with this last weekend, and I think that's super important for being able to win against lower tier teams because people don't come back.
For people who don't know, before the last week, Echo Fox's early game was they had a 1,500 gold differential at 10 minutes.
Yeah, or maybe it's 15. But
I think it was 10. It was
they had the biggest CS leads at 10, or CS gold differentials at 10, 15, and 20 minutes.
Envy, which is like a very high tier team in the early game, had the 500 gold, like a plus 500. That's very good. Like that means they're ahead more games than not. Right. Echo Fox is that much of an outlier.
Yeah.
For this is problematic because Darlight just played against Acadian, and it was like.
Right, so that was that one. So this is if Acadian looks bad like next week, I'm gonna be like off that ship. But right now, I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt for the first week. I think that their early game's good enough that they'll beat low tier teams who don't know how to come back in games necessarily, and then that gets in the 6th spot.
The one thing that would make me want to take Echo Fox over Immortals is I'm still not sure about Immortals against the other low tier teams. I feel like again, yes, Echo Fox can just win because their average skill player level outside of maybe their bot lane is very high. Like, and Looper had a bad week, but I still think Looper is very
right. Exactly.
Very good.
That's the other thing I was saying.
So it's not hard for them to get too exploited, even if they don't have a win condition like near the other bot lane team. Let's be real. Like Envy doesn't have a win condition. And so I think I would maybe slightly go over them, but I feel like honestly I've been really impressed with Immortals. I've been very very impressed with Immortals recently.
So you're on Immortals? Come on, commit to something. Like all those stupid billboards around Santa Monica.
Yeah, what is that even
I'm covered
for?
in bees. Commit to something.
Yeah, like I don't want to commit to bees. Yeah. Thank you.
I don't know. God, give me another week with Immortals.
Nope. Mid-season awards show right now.
Give me another week with
guys, we're going to take a timeout. We'll be back in 7 days. Where he has more data to make his opinion.
No.
Yeah. This is one of those things that like all of us could look really, really dumb because I think this is where like variance is like such a key factor, right? Like any of these teams could make the 6th place slot. I think that it's just fair to say that Echo Fox Immortals is probably the 6th place, just in general. I think like if you were to not pick Echo Fox, you pick Immortals, right?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. So like I think that's the thing. It's just a coin flip.
I'll probably do Echo Fox.
Oh, you're just giving in to Mark.
No, just because, like I said, like I'm worried about Immortals' ability to play against the lower competition. Yeah. I'm not even worried about their higher competition because I expect them to lose against TL. Or I'm sorry, no one loses against TL. I expect them to lose against C9 and TSM, but it's like the losses against lower, like their teams around they're equal, like Dignitas right now and like Envy, TL, and those people. Like I think there's a higher chance they drop a game to one of those,
right?
Then it necessarily that they're a worse team than Echo Fox.
All right,
sounds good.
I'll go Echo Fox, and then you'll go Immortals.
I'm just gonna be the outlier here, and I'm just gonna pick Immortals.
He's gonna pick Dignitas.
I still think. And we'll see by the end. Maybe I'm just retarded and I'll never speak my opinion again.
No,
I'll stay quiet on. But like, I honestly think that Dignitas, some of their games looked really good, and I really like it
and the
when
biggest
they're able to do
fan in the room.
Anyways,
that's gonna do it.
Yeah, that's gonna be it for this week's PLT, guys. There's no show tomorrow. Obviously, there's nothing to talk about after we went through all these awards today. So tune in next week, guys. We're gonna have our normal show. Meaning, we probably won't have Mark on the couch.
Yeah, I will not be here for the pregame
for the first 30 minutes. And so I think, so Saturday we'll be joined again with Mark late, and we'll do our QA. We'll have our normal stuff. We won't have this giant poster here. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Why is everyone saying TL now?
I feel like they're trying to troll us. That's what I was on my phone for. I was looking for Twitter to see if there's a TL post I missed. But I didn't see anything. Maybe it leaked on Reddit. We'll stall for a minute while I look this up.
All right.
People are talking about Smash Bros. Tourney.
Anyways, on top of that, if you came in late, you guys want to see the whole thing, I think we ran about 2 hours and 30 minutes today. The VOD for every PLT show will be on tomorrow afternoon.
Yep.
And so tomorrow afternoon, I trust my editor, Basti, will get it up there.
Fuckers trolling.
In terms of the Smash tournament, guys, don't think we'll get any pros, but we might be able to get people who are involved in the esports scene that you guys might not know who, they play Smash. So, like, we have people like Frodan who are around, and maybe we can get something together.
Like, really cool. It's a question mark thing, so
I was count on it.
I was considering, like, maybe throwing a Smash tournament after PLT, like, once a month or something like that, but that's something that's very experimental and something that's maybe in the works. We're talking about it. It's not confirmed at all.
Yeah. Wait, this is just troll. Do you guys believe this? Nijaki said, "Hey guys, I'm going to get the starting position for Team Liquid LOL. Wish me luck. I will wear my old cursed jersey."
Yeah. And
if you guys think that, if you believe that, I have some money. I have some money that I need to wash.
There's a Nigerian prince that you guys should...
I am the Nigerian prince. I need that money.
So yeah, basically that's it, guys. Please follow our social media. Follow the PLT social media as well. And we'll see you guys next time.
Peace out.
See ya.
Where is the mouse?
Mike's still on. I'm yelling. Oops.
Yeah. I love League.